Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie is in parts unknown right now on vacation. Andrew Bogusch is sitting in. Later in the show, I'll give you a hint of what Maggie went through. She was traveling on Friday, Andrew, and it was wild. It was wild because of the tech outage. She did arrive safely, so she is good. But Team USA has me worried. Team USA men's basketball, Bogusch, I was doing nothing on Saturday. I had nothing going on this weekend. I'm like, oh, I'll tune in to see Team USA wipe the floor with South Sudan. Then I tune in. They're down by 10 in the second quarter. I'm like, okay, it's only the second quarter. This doesn't mean anything. They go into halftime down big. They come back in the second half. I go away for a little while. I'm like, okay, finally they're blowing them out. Then I come back at the end, and it is very close. It was an exhibition game, but Team USA needed a LeBron James layup at the end to beat South Sudan, who's this newer team. Great story. But are you worried after this, only an exhibition game, are you worried that Team USA is in trouble, Bogusch?
No, back to you.
What?
It's an exhibition
I saw the game.
You said it. It's an exhibition game.
It is an exhibition game.
We are asking some of the more distracted professional athletes of all time to not be distracted on a Saturday in London against South Sudan, to the point where Steve Kerr said after the game, like, all right, maybe we let our guard down, me and them, because South Sudan is a nice story, but there's no current NBA players on that roster. Some guys who have been recently in the NBA, but nobody currently on an NBA roster. This game meant infinitely more for them than it did for Team USA. And the bottom line is they did not lose. They could have lost. Maybe they should have lost. They almost lost at the buzzer, but they didn't lose. And it's an exhibition game, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but there are things you have to worry about. Let's start with the obvious. LeBron James carried the team. He was a superstar. But he's 39. Even this game, his game is slowed down so much. He's like playing bully ball right now. He looks like Draymond with an offensive game. So he's 39. Steph Curry is 36. KD, when he gets back, which should be, I think today, is 37 or something like that. They're old. So that worries me a little bit. Joel Embiid, who's getting a lot of minutes, a significant part of this, is clearly a shell of himself. As usual, he's coming back from injury and out of shape. So he slows down the offense, and he is way inferior to Anthony Davis on defense. So you put in Anthony Davis is inferior to Embiid on offense. Then you always have this same Olympic problem. Last night, you can't play everybody 20 minutes. You got to sort of restrict the minutes and have some guys going 30 minutes. So Steve Kerr, the coach, has to decide who's going to play. I just think that is a tough lineup to figure out. Do you play Anthony Edwards the whole time? He's not as good a shooter as the other guys. Do you play Tatum the whole time? Who do you sit? I think that this is going to be a competitive tournament for USA basketball. I definitely don't think they're blowing everyone out.
No, but they've also won the last 4 gold medals, and it has gotten more competitive, and it's been dicey at times. But
LeBron is way older than those other things. Everyone's like ignoring, thinking this is a normal LeBron James. Is he going to be able to do this throughout a whole tournament?
But I mean, you think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing that he went, we probably shouldn't lose to South Sudan. So we scored 13 points second half, scored the game winner. That
was against South Sudan. Is that going to work against the much better international team?
Well, it works often in the NBA against NBA players, and this is a short window where he needs to be impactful LeBron.
Yeah.
So my assumption is, it'll work. And if it doesn't work, Durant will work. And if that doesn't work, they've got Steph Curry. And if that doesn't work, they've got Anthony Edwards.
But listen, I have not watched the last few Olympics that closely. Because let's face it, there wasn't.
Because you're a Canadian and you're rooting for Canada.
I mean Olympic basketball. Because some of it was time when they were on. Some of it was because I was never that scared they were going to lose. This year, I am. This is the first year I'm like, ooh, this has some energy of the early 2000s.
But what's different about now? Like
age.
They lost a game to Nigeria in this exhibition tune-up thing the last time, and then they won the gold medal. And I know you keep saying age, and LeBron is old, I get it, but LeBron also was an all-NBA player this season. He's not this is the same argument to a certain extent of like betting against Tom Brady because he's older than any quarterback ever, but he defied all logic. LeBron defies logic.
They got swept in the first round of the playoffs this year. LeBron is
because
not
the rest
same
of his
player.
Team stinks.
He had Anthony Davis this year.
Anthony Davis stinks.
I don't know about that.
Them not being good enough in the Western
come on.
Conference is not, the Lakers not being good enough in the Western Conference is not an argument against LeBron and Team USA against Serbia on Friday or Saturday.
A prime LeBron would have carried this Lakers team farther. 10 years ago, a 30-year-old LeBron clearly is a different player than a 39-year-old LeBron. That's obvious.
But the current LeBron, how bad would the Lakers have been without him this year?
No, he's still an amazing player. I'm not arguing about that, but I'm just saying when push comes to shove, I don't know if he could go Superman mode. I don't know if Steph Curry could do that consistently anymore. And KD's coming off an injury, and he's been this outstanding international player. He's sort of been the savior of this team. Why would we expect anything out of him right now at this point of his career?
So I will give you, and Steve Kerr, I think, will give us this as well, the rotation and who's going to play with who and when they're going to play is going to be an issue. And it might be a game-by-game issue. It may never be settled. On Saturday, he did not start the usual guys after halftime because he wanted his defensive unit to begin the third quarter. So every game, it might be different. But I'm assuming that those guys know what they signed up for. And if minutes are different one game to the next, they're not going to go start pouting and standing in the corner being pissed at Steve Kerr. I mean, but I'm just confused still by what is different. Like, everyone's upset about something that hasn't happened yet. Like, they haven't lost a gold medal in the last 4. They haven't lost a game yet in this warm-up cycle. They haven't lost this gold medal yet. This is the way it always is. They got to figure things out, who's going to play who, when they're going to play, when they're going to sit down. But this relative same collection figured it out the last time. My assumption is they're going to figure it out again this time. I mean, they just beat, by the way, before South Sudan, they played Serbia with Jokic and blew them off the floor.
That Serbia team didn't have all its players. There was a Bogdanovic or two missing. I'm actually not making that up. And it's not a great team around him. Okay, let's hear from Steve Kerr on what really happened on Saturday.
I did not do a great job preparing our team. I think we did not focus enough on what they're capable of, and that's on me. And that I think that really allowed South Sudan to gain confidence early.
So I understand what Steve Kerr is doing there. I do think the truth of that is other teams are giving their total A game against USA. Obviously, this is the team to beat. And South Sudan couldn't miss on Saturday for large stretches. So here my only point is why that's a little scary is because you assume other teams are really going to give everything they have to try and make a mark against Team USA, like they always have.
Right, and that the 3-point defense has been a theme for this relative collection of guys. When they've been in close games, it's because the other guy has been ridiculously good from 3. So like that, there are tiny little things in this game to be worried about. But this is the same conversation we always end up with, and then at least in recent memory, they always end up with a gold medal because they're still just enough better than everybody else, 1 through 12, that they usually can rescue themselves.
Okay, let's hear from LeBron, which is this kind of a funny angle here. And I agree with him, and I think you think this is typical LeBron. This is LeBron James after the win.
To be honest, I like those ones better than the blowouts. At least we get tested. I like getting tested, man. Put the clothes on. I like being tested. Those are the best ones.
So that's a USA basketball video, I think.
Yeah, to explain the setting here.
There's some official person, social media person walking off the floor with the team after the game, and they're just in the tunnel. So LeBron's just talking in the direction of Steph Curry. He keeps side-eyeing the camera, like, I know you're there, but I'm not going to look like, you guys recording? And the one time the camera pans to Steph, he's walking straight ahead, not looking at LeBron. So nobody knows if Steph cares, whatever. But to me, that's just LeBron on the stage trying to sound cool and a leader. Hey, those are the good ones, the tough ones, the tight ones. Blowouts get us nothing. This teaches us something. At least we responded.
Well, there's some logic there. LeBron woke up in the second. I saw there was one play where LeBron just came down and with 2 arms extended shoved some South Sudan guy, and for some reason the official was standing right there and didn't call it. Like, he got really physical, got kind of angry.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Old LeBron. it's fun for us as an audience to see a closer game. And, I've said on the show jokingly, I'm not rooting for Team USA because, and I'll tell you why, it's so interesting when it's a close game. Like this would be, to see, it got something out of LeBron that we haven't seen in forever. Like LeBron to turn it on in an international game was exciting. So that's at least fun. I mean, yes, of course we don't want to see him lose, but I wouldn't mind more close games like this.
Well, you want to see him lose, but then the close games is where everybody freaks out. I mean, we just had LeBron James. Yeah. LeBron James on a July local time night for us afternoon in a game that didn't matter, was apparently pissed that he didn't start the third quarter, according to Steve Kerr. And then when he got on the floor, he was like, I'm not losing this game. And he took over a game against anybody and got them a win in a game that didn't matter. Like, that's good news. You think he's going to not be able to do that when it actually counts in a couple of days?
Well, he's going to go against better teams.
Yeah, but he's going to, if it matters, he's still LeBron.
Well, okay.
And
I guess South Sudan.
He's got Dennis Schroeder on his hip. Who's going to win that matchup when they play Germany? They play Germany today. They play Serbia first, then South Sudan and Puerto Rico. I think they're going to be okay. Obviously, the medal round will be different.
Right.
But again, LeBron showed up on Saturday and didn't let them lose a game that would not have mattered if they lost.
All right, we'll see. You think, so the way you're describing it, this should be, I'm not saying you're saying it's going to be easy, but it sounds like you're saying you have no worries.
Well, let's just get fast forward wherever it is, 2.5, 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And if they don't have a gold medal, then we can do the huge referendum on systems and programs and team building and whatnot. But the proof is in the pudding. They have the gold medal 4 Olympics running. I don't care what happens in the World Cup. I don't care what happens in the tune-ups in Abu Dhabi or London or anywhere else. They have the last 4 gold medals. It's good.
Can I just posit that it's not really interesting to talk about them if they win? It's more interesting when there's a question if they'll win. Like, nobody's going to care if they do all that.
And there is a question that they're going to win because everybody else has caught up, and some of these countries have deep, deep rosters. There used to not be a question about them winning. So there is a question about them winning, but they still win. Okay,
our executive producer, EJ Stewart, is still laid up at home. He will be coming on in Zoom this week, which will be fun. Now, I know you and him share a common bond. You didn't care about the 92 Dream Team. You're all about the Redeem Team, right, Andrew Bogus?
Not even a little bit.
Okay. No, I know EJ will come on later. But to me, the Dream Team is a totally singular Olympic team. Men's basketball has been hard for me to grab onto because it hasn't really. I mean, okay, so Kobe came in and saved the Redeem Team. I just did not care at that point, and I'm having trouble. That's why I wanted to be close.
That's why you're committing treason by rooting for R.J. Barrett and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay. But I have to tell you, as controversial as this men's team has been, I feel like the women's team also has their own controversy, and I think that controversy kind of got bigger this weekend because of what happened at the WNBA All-Star game. We're going to break that down next. Andrew Bogus sitting in for Maggie Gray. Later on, we have our Sweet 16 of the greatest sitcom ever bracket, and oh man, we have the Pete Bellotti Invitational, the snubs, the NIT of the sitcom bracket. We're down to the Final Four, Pete, right?
Yes, we are.
I don't know how. I don't know how this happened. Pete's BIT has better shows than our Final Four, which is really bothering me. I don't know how these powerhouses slip through. We'll reveal the voting there. It's going to be a fun show. A lot going on. Andrew Bogus in for Maggie. Stick with us. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Break it go. In just 5 minutes we'll be back on air. So take a breath, we'll soon be there. 5 minutes, count it down. Maggie and Perloff, the best show in town. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. Whoa! You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go! great. Time's ticking down, it's almost here. Maggie and Perloff, we're so near. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. You're in a 5-minute break, so don't go far. Maggie and Perloff, we know who you are. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, count it down. The Maggie and Perloff Show will be back around. Whoa!
3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Andrew Bogus sitting in for Maggie. So you could go to the Infinity Sports Network YouTube channel, follow the chat. Adam Hurley says every country is playing basketball better now, and that explains why Team USA had to scramble to beat South Sudan, a relatively new international team, on Saturday in an exhibition game. I watched it. It was crazy. South Sudan was on fire. It was a lot of fun. LeBron single-handedly sort of saved Team USA. I think there are issues. I think this could be a very, very difficult tournament. Let us know what you think. 855-212-4227. Andrew Bogus thinks that we should talk in 4 weeks when it's all over, which is not nearly as fun, by the way, dude. What's the point?
Let's get all worked up about a Saturday afternoon in London.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. Okay. Meanwhile, Saturday night, Team USA women's basketball lost to the WNBA leftover All-Stars. Caitlin Clark set about her 800th record because apparently nobody collected any stats in the WNBA before she arrived. She had 10 assists in the All-Star game, which is a record. Didn't hit an outside shot. She was 0 for 7 from 3, scored 4 points. What can we glean from this? I still think that the Team USA, regardless of what the reasons are, should have Caitlin Clark on their team. I think it's a disappointment. I think once they're probably going to win the gold, and we're all going to say, that was okay, but it would have been a lot more special if Caitlin Clark was there.
I think that the takeaway is it's nice to be them for a change, because imagine if the men had lost to an all-star leftover team, we'd be disbanding USA basketball. We'd be sending Grant Hill and Steve Kerr to Siberia if Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and Dante DiVincenzo beat Team USA.
Well, they're not going to send the Knicks. I mean,
they might, apparently.
That's a great question. Who would have been the not? Obviously, Jaylen Brown, who was very close to making.
Scored 50.
Jaylen Brown would have gone to town. Obviously, I don't know if Rick Brunson's healthy. He probably would have dropped 40. Anybody could have.
Or Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson. Rick Brunson, his dad, would have been the assistant coach. Any center could have run up and down on Embiid for as many points as they want.
would have worked Embiid in that game?
Oh, well, Embiid was basically like late career Kareem in that game. Once he gets down there, he's pretty good, but it takes a long, long time. And as a Sixers fan, I can vouch for that. But I do think it's really interesting, this WNBA, a lot of buzz around the All-Star weekend. Very disappointing. We haven't really had a chance to break down. It was revealed after Friday's show that Caitlin Clark is the one who said no to the three-point shooting contest. Kind of obvious that it was her. That took away a lot of luster. To see Sabrina Ionescu and Caitlin Clark would have been the highlight of the weekend.
Yeah, and I kind of want to be mad at this, gently said. Because Caitlin Clark said she was too tired and she's been playing basketball straight for the last year. And that's a valid point, because unlike the NBA, the WNBA goes right from the college season into the WNBA season. So, she played through early April, got drafted, and went right to the fever. So she's got, she's in her second consecutive season. So I get that she's tired. She said that she doesn't, I don't shoot off of racks from random places. Okay. But now you're in the Olympic break, because unfortunately you're not going to Paris, so you've got nothing to do. I still am a little perplexed why she and Sabrina couldn't have found the energy. At least Ionescu is going, I'm going to Paris, so I want, this is my one night to sit and not do anything. At least that was a little more water to Caitlin Clark just going, I'm a little tired. I still think that was a missed opportunity by everybody to have her out there shooting threes on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. She had nothing to gain. But if she had lost, that would have been a headline. If she had won, it would have been awesome, but there's too much risk, and she probably is really tired. It's like LeBron not doing the dunk contest. What does LeBron have to gain out of doing the dunk contest? Caitlin has nothing to gain. She's the biggest star the sport has ever had.
Yeah, I mean, we said this on Friday. I don't think she's anything to lose. I don't think anybody would have, if she went 1 for 50, no one would have backed off of her or thought she wasn't going to be great or would have lost fans. If I'm picking excuses, I'd rather say I'm tired than apparently being afraid of the dunk contest, which seems to be the theme for all these guys. They don't want to mess up the dunk contest and be clowned on. I don't think anyone's going to clown Caitlin Clark for not winning the three-point shooting.
I don't know. I think they would. I mean, that was her reputation coming in the WNBA. She has not shot it consistently since she's been there. She's been an assist machine. You don't think they would give her a hard time? Come on, you know how this works, Bogus. The way the media works is you build up superstars, and then you're just dying to rip them down at some point. Then you build them up again. That's fine. It's a cycle. So I think people would take that opportunity to say Caitlin Clark's overrated if she got blown out, say, in the three-point contest.
Except no one is – I haven't seen a critical column, anything about her not shooting Friday.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's ripping her for going 0 for 7 from deep in the All-Star game either. There's people who are just going to are built in to be against her. But those people don't count. What you're looking for is the people who don't have an opinion or are new. They're not going to show up and go, she can't shoot because she didn't win the three-point shooting contest.
There's also an overwhelming majority, just a huge number of Americans who don't watch Caitlin Clark but form opinions about her on social media.
Sure.
A ton of people. So this would be low-hanging fruit if she got killed in this three-point shooting contest. Even more so, they go to 0 for 7 in the game. People don't seem to care if she hits any of her shots.
Well, that's my point.
In the
People-
games. Games. But this would be different. You know it's different. Like it's kind of like Steph Curry in the 3-point shooting contest. If he was bad, you might notice it.
Okay, but here's the thing. Has he been bad?
He's won a bunch, hasn't he?
I think he's won at least one, but I mean, I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he's won every one he's been in. Didn't he lose to Ionescu in January?
He won that one.
So I don't know. Like, has anyone ever had the 3-point contest held against them?
Caitlin's different. Well, you will at least admit, like, everything is elevated for Caitlin Clark. Like, she's the Tiger Woods, LeBron James of this sport. Like, everything she does is under a microscope. So you can't, even Curry is so different. Curry was always sharing the spotlight with LeBron James and other stars. Now, Caitlin shares some of the spotlight with Angel Reese, but she is just such a unique phenomenon in this sport that I don't think anything that's happened in the past can apply to her.
But I also think that because she's a unique phenomenon, she has a Q rating that's almost perfect.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Like you were
people
the person
try to find
against her.
criticism. People try to find. I'm the person against.
Like
her?
she wasn't a victim of an elbow. You're defending the
Oh my
Holy
God.
Cross player.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
And how'd that go for you?
Well, it is crazy. A little inside baseball. If you send a tweet about Caitlin Clark, get ready for 17 million views. That's just. There's something about. I talked to somebody at a sports website the other day. They said that Caitlin Clark is driving more traffic than any other athlete, any other sport, the WNBA right now. And I heard ESPN the other day said they might have a daily WNBA show. The executives are noticing the WNBA is drawing more attention than anything right now, and it's because of Caitlin. So I do worry that there's a lot of downside for her to go out there, and it's such a kind of an exhibition event like the 3-point shooting contest. And if she looked bad, we wouldn't be talking about it. We probably would have led with it. Maybe not. Yeah, you're right. But it would have been a much bigger story than her shooting 0 for 7 in the actual game. Now, listen, it was on a Saturday night, and you know me, I'm Mr. Social. I was out clubbing. I didn't have time to watch
Did
this.
they have it on in the club that you were at?
The club that I was at, you mean watching The Wedding Planner with Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Lopez with my daughter?
You know what I watched the other day? In a similar fashion, not Saturday night, but 13 going on 30.
With Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah.
And Jennifer Garner?
Yeah.
I've seen that with my kids maybe 20 times. And I'm usually the one who says, let's watch 13 going on 30.
I walked into my bedroom. My wife had it on, I think by accident.
Yes.
She wasn't paying attention, and then I wouldn't change the channel. I had never seen it before.
That is such a common pattern in the Perloff household. Basically, to get the kids and the parents to watch the same movie, we're like, let's go with a rom-com. It's a safe area. And then about 20 minutes in, my daughter's off on her iPad somewhere. My wife has something to do with it.
Watching something R-rated. Something edgier.
And it's me finding out if J-Lo finds love alone on a Saturday night.
Yeah. How many dresses are you going to try on?
You know what's funny about those two movies you mentioned? They have the same common best friend. There was an actress named Judy Greer who played the best friend in all those rom-coms. She's in The Wedding Planner and she's in 13 Going on 30. If she shows up on screen, count Perloff in.
But usually she's nice. She sucks in 13 Going on 30. She's mean.
Well, no, she doesn't suck as an actor. Her character sucks.
Yeah, their character sucks. Usually, like, she's kind of, when I've seen her, she's funny. And she's sweet. And in this movie, she's the protagonist. She's the driving force of Jennifer Garner's change.
Wait, you're mad at the Judy Greer character in 13 Going on 30?
I'm impressed by her range.
No, listen, I'm well aware that she stole Jennifer Garner's layouts to get a job at another magazine.
And her being mean, forcing her to the closet to play 7 Minutes in Heaven is when she wants to grow up because she hates being a teenager because of the Six or whatever they're called.
Here's another rom-com question. Okay. In 13 Going on 30, Mark Ruffalo is actually engaged. He's about to get married.
Yes.
Leaves her for Jennifer Garner. In The Wedding Planner, Matthew McConaughey is engaged. Eventually leaves, spoiler, leaves his fiance.
Pete, fingers in your ears because eventually you're going to watch these movies.
Right.
Yeah, soon they'll be old enough for you to watch.
Leaves for J-Lo, who, by the way, just had a very sad 55th birthday, I read in the New York Post. She was all alone on a yacht somewhere.
There's
so much going on here. But what's the deal in rom-coms where you leave your fiance? Like, that's a really bad thing in real life. That's a terrible thing to do.
All right.
But in rom-coms, apparently you're allowed to.
Yeah, and no blowback.
No blowback at all.
Nope.
Like, if I left my wife right before we were about to get married, I'd be the worst dude in the history of the world. But apparently, if Matthew McConaughey does it, it's cute. Explain.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, and you can judge me afterwards all you want. It's on my bucket list. That sounds even worse to say out loud. I want to be at a wedding that doesn't happen.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Right? Now, so it needs to be somebody that you don't really care about, not a friend, more like a coworker, like everyone in the office gets invited to Todd's wedding, and then you show up and Todd and Mary don't get married. So it's not like you have to deal with it after the fact. That's a good one.
I have done it. Sorry, I totally forgot. There was a kind of early in my relationship with my wife. She had a relative who they called it off, not at the day of, but they called it off 2 days before. We all showed up and we had a giant party without them.
Because you have to, right? Because everything is paid for.
Yes, and eventually, so they didn't break up, but they decided to delay the wedding, and then they eventually broke up, and he got married to someone else, and now is doing great. But
how's she doing?
I have no idea, but I want to see. I want to see. I'm with you. I want to see
Jail.
actually happen during the wedding. By the way, that to bring it back to sports, that would be Team USA losing to South Sudan. Like that's we all want to see chaos. Manny Rodriguez is doing updates. Manny, are you a big rom-com guy?
No.
What?
No.
A lot of judgment in that answer.
You're in the wrong room, my friend.
No, man. No.
You and Maggie, yeah, good. You and Maggie. Maggie, I don't think is a big rom-com person either. What are you talking about?
I'm not interested. What do you mean? What am I? I'd rather just watch. I'd rather watch the Dodgers play the.
No,
Red
you
Sox.
like a rom-com because you like Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges all being teammates. That's basically a rom-com.
Well, that's
Or four best friends playing basketball together.
Yeah.
Now you're sounding judgy over there.
Okay. By the way, that Dodgers Red Sox game, I don't always watch out of market baseball games. That was fun.
Baseball's fun.
Yeah, I could get into that a little bit, but I will not stand for rom-com slander.
What's your favorite rom-com?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Like
What's your favorite kid? It's a
my
tough
favorite, like Harry Met Sally seems like an iconic one. I don't know. It's kind of old school. Favorite rom? Oh, Say Anything with John Cusack when he holds up the box and plays In Your Eyes. That's a pretty good one. You're looking at me like I'm 150 years old.
You've heard of none of this?
Yeah. No.
I've heard of no, none of it, more or less.
Have you heard of John Cusack in general?
Yes, I've heard of John Cusack. I've heard,
Pete, you like light
I've watched
fare.
the SpongeBob movie. Is that good enough, Pete?
It's not.
No.
Yeah, I don't view it as rom-com. I view it as comedy. I love comedy no matter what form. So if it is a rom-com, I'm watching it.
So what's your favorite?
I don't know because I really don't I really don't categorize it as rom-com. I categorize it as comedy. So
I like a sitcom.
give me, Say Anything is great. You throw a name at me, I'll tell you if I like it or not.
Okay, let's do some updates. I have a Vanity Fair list of the top 42 rom-coms of all time. Now we
42
decided
through 32 when we come back.
Yeah, we decided to do sitcoms. It is July, by the way.
Popcorn, folks.
We
Where's
decided to do
Aaron
sitcoms.
Rodgers?
Next year, we're doing a rom-com bracket, and Manny, you're not allowed to talk about it. It's going to be so interesting, so exciting, and you have no say, dude. You're going to come in, and I'm going to break down the plot of my big fat Greek wedding, and you're not even going to.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
Number 41, if you were wondering.
It makes the list. All right.
Condolences.
Manny, save us with some sports.
Headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with Life Electronic Device and Pet Health Insurance. The Baseball Hall of Fame inducted 4 new members. One of them is Adrian Beltre, or for you specifically, Bogues, Adrian Beltre.
Thank you.
Beltre signed with the Dodgers in
love it.
1994 at the age of 15. 4 years later, he debuted in Dodger Blue and made stops in Seattle and Boston before landing with the Texas Rangers for good. Over 3,100 hits in his career, 5 Gold Gloves, a 21-year vet, and a special relationship with shortstop Elvis Andrus.
You were paying my bud. But I really enjoy playing beside you for so many years. That was so much fun. Even though you want to catch every freaking fly ball just to help your fielding percentage. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Did you see? So, if you guys are not aware of Adrian Beltre's idiosyncrasies, he does not like when you touch his head. And players would always try to touch his head. His friends, like when they got to third base, they try to touch his head. So, yesterday when he got to the podium and started talking, David Ortiz tipped up behind him and rubbed the top of his head to piss him off right in the middle of his Hall of Fame speech.
That is so much fun. It seemed like a very positive, fun Hall of Fame induction yesterday. I'm seeing nothing but good vibes.
Well, there was another man who was inducted in Joe Mauer. He lived the dream of every young North American athlete. He was selected with the top pick by his hometown team, Perloff.
Much of my early childhood was spent watching Twins games and pretending to be a big leaguer in my backyard and at various neighborhood parks with my brothers. Many of those parks were the same fields that fellow Hall of Famers Dave Winfield, Paul Molitor, and Jack Morris played on as well.
Number 1 pick of the 2001 MLB draft, spent his entire career with the Twins, 3 batting titles along the way for Mauer, as he and Chipper Jones are the only number 1 overall picks in history to spend their entire careers with the team that drafted them while playing at least 500 career games in the bigs. Also inducted another one-man team in Todd Helton and longtime manager Jim Leyland. Guys, is this still a big deal?
Not to me. I mean, I'm sorry. It's hard in the post-steroid era to get super excited. But Joe Mauer is interesting to me because he was an elite quarterback, right? Was supposed to play at Florida State. And Todd Helton was Peyton Manning's...
Well, he started until Peyton Manning was good enough to pass him.
Yeah, he was a backup. So I think it's interesting. Mauer was supposed to be spectacular at football. It's interesting to me that he chose baseball. Now he's a Hall of Famer. But this is a good class. To me, this is not like an all-time, I got to go to Cooperstown class. What do you think, Bogus?
Yeah, I mean, Mauer to me is the draw. Beltre and Helton were much debated whether they should be in or not.
Yeah.
And yesterday in particular...
No, Beltre's not much debated. Baseball people love Beltre.
Well, but he was slow developing in his Hall of Fame. I don't think this was multiple years, I think, on the ballot before he got in.
Yeah, he didn't get in for his Dodger run.
Right. Like it took when he was playing, people didn't necessarily universally agree that he was a future Hall of Famer. But then as he continued to play and he finished, he had all these combinations of hits and homers and defense that like people didn't have before.
But he retired in 2018. He couldn't have been on that many ballots.
Yeah, no, this is actually his
all right.
First.
Then
he got 95%, 95.1% on the first ballot.
I've been in Adrian Beltre debate, so that I'm misremembering the timeline of him getting in.
I always think that the Adrian Beltre is sort of an analytics favorite. Like those guys, like he's a modern baseball. They say his fielding's amazing. The analytics guys, like the Tom Verducci's of the world, my former Sports Illustrated coworker, always said Adrian Beltre, no brainer Hall of Famer.
But Pete, I mean, you would agree that when he was playing, people were not all about him being in the Hall of Fame. I get what you're saying. Like the 5 years of him not playing, that's when the real, what's the right word?
I think
the real support poured in.
The end of his career gave him his Hall of Fame status, not the beginning of his career. I thought he was toward the end of his career. The Texas run was where he made his Hall of Fame name.
Nobody remembers Adrian Beltre, the Dodger, or Adrian Beltre, the Boston Red Sox. Everybody remembers him as a Texas Ranger. So I get what you're saying. Nobody thought about him, going into the Hall of Fame pre-2008. It was after, it was at the turn of the decade where people perhaps started to think Adrian Beltre would be perhaps in the Hall of Fame one day.
Well, sorry, go ahead, Pete.
No, go ahead.
Well, he's only 4 All-Star appearances. That is not a lot. But he's got 5 Gold Gloves, and everyone always talks about his fielding. Again,
only man on the planet with 3,100 hits and 5 Gold Gloves. So, I mean, if you want to make a case for Adrian Beltre's Hall of Fame case, there it is.
And then yesterday with the Biden news happening almost as they were speaking, there was almost nobody paying attention to the ceremony yesterday, which is already tough on a summer Sunday afternoon to begin with.
Manny, anything else?
Yeah, Xander Schauffele, he wins the Open Championship after shooting a final round 65. He finishes 2 strokes over Justin Rose and Billy Horschel, who was the leader leading into Sunday. For Schauffele, that is major win number 2 in the last 2 months after winning the PGA Championship. He becomes the 6th golfer to win his first 2 majors in the same year. He also becomes the 6th golfer to win the PGA Championship and the Open in the same year. The last to do so was Rory McIlroy in 2014, and it's also a sweep for the red, white, and blue. For the first time since 1982, U.S. golfers claimed all 4 majors. NFL, the Houston Texans are signing running back Cam Akers, according to ESPN. Akers, who is coming off his 2nd career torn left Achilles, joins a running back room already with Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce in it. Akers is 25 years old. A couple of baseball scores from yesterday to wrap things up. Mariners, they avoid a sweep and beat the Astros 6-4. Yordan Alvarez, he hit for the cycle in the loss. The Brewers hold off the Twins in a nail-biter 8-7. The Yankees continue to struggle. The Rays win 6-4, and Shohei Ohtani, he hit a moonshot, and the Dodgers win over the Red Sox. They sweep them 9-6. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that Shohei home run is still going somewhere in the night of L.A. That was awesome.
I think it just landed in Tokyo.
By the way, number 1 all-time rom-com, according to Vanity Fair, When Harry Met Sally. Number 2, Sleepless in Seattle. Basically, oh no, You've Got Mail, which is the same movie. That's kind of weak. And number 3 is Clueless, which apparently is an E.J. Stewart favorite. Not surprised. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Coming up next, we have an unnecessarily angry NFL coach. You'll hear why. Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break.
You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Sit back, relax, we got a break to go. In just 5 minutes, we'll be back on air. So take a breath, we'll soon be there. 5 minutes, count it down. Maggie and Perloff, the best show in town. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's wait. 5 minutes now, it's gonna be great. Time's ticking down, it's almost here. Maggie and Perloff, we're so near. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. You're in a 5-minute break, so don't go far. Maggie and Perloff know who you are. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, count it down. The Maggie and Perloff Show will be back around. Okay, I gotta get off. Perloff Show, we'll be back around.
World, it's always a Tom Hanks scene. From Big to Castaway, he's the fan club dean.
2 minutes,
In his
30
living
seconds
room, it's a
remaining.
movie marathon with Tom on the screen from dusk till dawn. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Tom Hanks. It's a serious thing. From Forrest Gump to Sully, he makes his heart sing. Quotes every line, knows every part. Tom Hanks isn't just an actor, he's a piece of his heart. Whether it's Woody or Captain Phillips at the helm, Peter Bellotti's collection's overwhelming, a cinematic realm. Saving Private Ryan or dancing on a giant keyboard, each film a treasure, deeply adored. When life gets tough and the days are long, Peter Bellotti turns to Thomas Films, where he feels he belongs. A laugh, a cry, or a heartfelt sigh, and Hank's stories, time just flies by. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Tom Hanks. It's a serious thing. From Eternal to Apollo 13, he makes his heart sing. Quotes every line, knows every part. Tom Hanks isn't just an actor, he's a piece of his heart. So here's to Peter Bellotti with his movie nights. Tom Hanks on the screen, making everything right. In a world full of stars, one shines most bright. For Peter, it's Tom Hanks in the soft movie light.
– 45 seconds remaining. $30 remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. Andrew Bogus sitting in for Maggie today. Maggie's on vacation. She's probably pretty happy right now that she missed our rom-com discussion. I don't think it's ironic. The one woman on the show is not into rom-coms. I'm not ironic. Yeah, of course, as always, I'm into the cheesier thing here.
Maggie is a moving target. Like we've all worked here for a long time together, but loosely together. This is our first extended time together in the building at the same time.
Yeah, right.
And I knew who Maggie was before she came into the company too, but she's hard to peg.
She likes silly comedies.
Yeah, and
not cheesy. I think that's my sense, and I don't want to speak for her, but she loves like a slapsticky kind of Naked Gun kind of movie.
I would not have pegged her to be the female version of P. Pilates, but she basically is. No, because she even likes wrestling.
They share a brain on pop culture. It's amazing. Although
amazing is not the word I would use.
It's amazing. It's the word I would use.
It's amazing for you. It's not a compliment to Maggie.
It's amazing when we're talking about movies. Maggie will sort of turn to Pete to back her up, and he always does.
That's right.
Yeah,
because we were smart. That's why.
Maggie does she has one fatal flaw. I feel bad talking about her when she's not here. No, she likes comedy sequels for some reason. And basically, when she was 9 years old, she discovered Jackie Mason and Caddyshack 2, and it completely formed her sense of humor. And most people are not gigantic Caddyshack 2 fans. But she's like, yeah.
Airplane 2 was underrated.
Naked Gun 2's pretty good, not quite as good as Naked Gun 1. Yeah, generally, though, comedies, Ghostbusters 2 was awful. She found it exhilarating, as I recall. She's like, oh, Ghostbusters 2. And then she broke down the plot for me. I'm like, how did you even remember that? For some reason, the original just doesn't do it for her. She's like, yeah, it's a sequel. They're perfecting the storyline or whatever. Generally, what's the best comedy sequel? Is it Airplane or Naked Gun?
I will say I think it's Major League 2. I think Major League 2.
You're crazy. Major League 1 was so good. Wesley Snipes left the franchise.
Yeah, but I thought other than that, I thought everything else was funny in that movie and a very underrated movie.
Yeah, Pete's not wrong.
What happens in Major League 2? What's the plot?
Well, that's when they let the stardom get to their head. Lou Brown has a heart attack, and Jake Taylor has to manage.
Right.
They have a fight in the dugout with the mascot too.
Yeah.
The catcher's got the Victoria's Secret addiction. He needs to look at the dirty magazine.
I'm sorry, I asked this question.
Jack Parkman.
Right, Jack Parkman.
The big free agent signing.
Right. Dorn owns the team, and he doesn't own the team.
Scott Bakula comes in
No.
3, right? That's in 3.
Yes.
That was horrible.
You know what? Okay. As long as we're talking sequels, the new Ghostbusters movies, have you guys checked those out?
I think I saw the first one.
Oh, boy.
Be careful. Paul Rudd might be listening.
Oh, boy. These should not be made. People are criticizing Hollywood for not being inventive with their movies. The new Ghostbusters movies, and there was one a couple years ago, too, with Kate McKinnon, I know, that they need to stop making... You can't do a comedy sequel, basically. Come up with something new. Anyway, switch to football. NFL training camps are starting all over the country this week. Most of them by tomorrow, then a few more by Wednesday. So Baltimore, I believe, has reported, and I wasn't even aware there was a controversy about this, but I guess Coach John Harbaugh is just fed up with people criticizing his quarterback, Lamar Jackson. The guy's a two-time MVP. Harbaugh has to explain this to me. Let's hear from John Harbaugh.
Lamar, for whatever reason, there's a lot of great things said about Lamar, but there's a lot of stuff that's said that you got to just scratch your head about and kind of wonder, what's that person even thinking?
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to because the guy has won 2 MVPs. There are a lot of great things said about him. I understand for a long time Lamar was overly criticized. That's absolutely true. But I felt like NFL Nation had come around on Lamar. You don't hear the same kind of criticisms, like he's not a true quarterback, all that crap. I feel like people know who Lamar Jackson is. He played poorly in the AFC title game, but to me, that was not just on Lamar. That was game plan. They kept on dropping back and passing the ball. I blame the offensive coordinator for that. I didn't blame Lamar Jackson. So I'm not quite. Did you understand this Harbaugh stuff?
So first of all, this answer was 2 minutes and 43 seconds long.
A rant, a true rant.
And I think the question was just about Lamar's vision or like lack thereof, like seeing the field. And Harbaugh went all in on defending his guy, which I get to a point. But in this next clip, I think you go a little too far in defending Lamar Jackson.
Okay, let's hear the next clip. This is Coach John Harbaugh on Lamar Jackson.
Vision that we have together is that Lamar Jackson is going to become and be known and be recognized as the greatest quarterback ever to play in the history of the National Football League. That's the vision, all right? It's going to happen by Lamar, his work ethic, and his brilliant talent, by all of us pouring into that effort together as a team, teamwork.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Right.
He's 27 and he's got Patrick Mahomes in the league. He might be the second best quarterback of his generation, but Mahomes already has multiple Super Bowls. He's three Super Bowls.
And they've got Tom Brady sitting there.
Yeah, I guess that's what a coach should say, but why is he getting so defensive here? Lamar Jackson just won the MVP.
So I understand being defensive over feeling like you're asked the same questions over and over and over again, but you have to be able to ask questions of Lamar Jackson because the Ravens would admit that they have not gone as far as they would like to go over the last couple of years. And there is something to hold against Jackson and them as an organization about their recent postseason performances.
Yeah.
But even so, all right, you want to be defensive, you want to defend your guy, that's fine. But why do we need to go down we think he's going to end up the best quarterback ever? It's nice to have goals, but you could be a little more realistic or not so exaggerated in your defense of your guy.
Yeah, it's funny. Now, Jim Harbaugh is sounding like the sensible Harbaugh in this conversation. Let's talk about the Ravens season for a second. I think last year felt like the year. They were the number one seed. They had a Kansas City team that was by all stats way down on offense. They really, cover Travis Kelce, maybe a couple plays go here and there. Zay Flowers sort of screwed up two things in that game, the AFC title game. This year, they have a very tough schedule. According to Warren Sharp, who does his strike the schedule, the football analyst by the Vegas Lines, the Ravens have the fourth hardest schedule in the entire NFL, partly because the AFC North is totally stacked. So it's going to be hard. They bring in Derrick Henry. Now, this is really interesting. Older running backs don't do anything in the NFL. This is usually a formula for complete mediocrity, but he is such a freak. Maybe this will work. I'm kind of into it.
I think it's going to work. I think the key, and they've talked about this already, is that they just have to make sure that they don't overuse him before they really need him at the end. So that's on everybody else. That's on the other running backs. That's on having better game plans week to week than we saw against the Chiefs in their place in the postseason. It's up to Lamar Jackson. It's up to that defense. But bringing in Derrick Henry to not have to be the guy, I think is worth doing. And you put him on the way they play football, it makes total sense.
Also, it's year 2 with offensive coordinator Todd Monken, who has a system that it's hard to adjust to. Every time Todd Monken has taken over a team, the quarterback struggles the first half of that year. And Lamar really picked it up passing-wise as the season went along. So I think he's going to be a better passer this year. It's a much more passing-oriented offense, which is a good thing. They did lose all their offensive linemen. I don't know if that's a bad thing. They were all older, like Morgan Moses, who's now in the Jets.
Yeah.
But they're a team that always loses free agents and always finds new guys. Their defense is awesome. This is going to be a fun team to watch. I'm not sure why John Harbaugh is yelling at us. I get it.
On a Sunday,
I get it. He's supporting.
in July.
Yeah, in July. Like, dude, just relax. Can't we just enjoy Lamar Jackson? Does everything have to be this massive debate about legacy? He's 27. Now, I think John Harbaugh puts even more expectation on his star quarterback. All right, coming up, you've been waiting for it. We're down to the Sweet 16 of the greatest sitcom ever bracket on Maggie Perloff.
You're in a
You're moving kinda slow, but your golden retrievers ready for the show in the Staples Center. The crowd goes wild when they see your pup dribble. Man, that dog's got style. Bark it up, shoot it up from the three-point line. LeBron's golden retriever making Lakers shine. Oh, LeBron's cheering, his hair's a silver hue, while his furry MVP does what he used to do. Now JJ Redick's on the sidelines, wine in hand, coaching up the pup in this basketball land. Pass and cut and fetch it too. He says, who knew coaching a dog would be part of his days? LeBron's sitting back, his legacy's all set, but his dog's just started, the best Laker yet. Through the legs over tails, he jumps and spins, even got his own sneaker deal, AirPods that wins. Bark it up, shoot it up from the three-point line. LeBron's golden retriever making Lakers shine. Oh, LeBron's cheering, his hair's a silver hue, while his furry MVP does what he used to do. So if you head to LA, you might just see a golden retriever making basketball history. LeBron and JJ sipping wine, feeling fine, watching a four-legged star redefine the baseline. So if you head to LA, you might just see a golden retriever making basketball history. LeBron and JJ sipping wine, feeling fine, watching a four-legged star redefine the baseline.
I love everybody guys. We love when you're some things like some pace might tell. They rock around silly what from the braces can say. This is a farmer here, a cold trapped in down his butcher's wood, his beard, a tree, and ounces all a face full his rest in a do inspection. This is all inside that's blunt trading down his butcher's image and play with and tree that was bustling cost at health food insane a drain outs. Yo, a UNO station, which is no like the morning, then God Saturday take it. Or if you don't sitting pre-up per card, it really cries. It's all God, but this all watching to the house, perching. This up over how you done my craisins. If you see this people like Tony's like a liver saying, you know it grabs really deep. What I sound in top with elbows. What I friend and cut this feeble TV and Adidas. No, you know at 2 house minutes, you know it just does study.
Hey there, LeBron, you're moving kinda slow, but your golden retriever's ready for the show. In the Staples Center, the crowd goes wild when they see your pup dribble. Man, that dog's got style. Bark it up, shoot it up from the three-point line. LeBron's golden retriever making Lakers shine. Old LeBron's cheering, his hair's a silver hue, while his furry MVP does what he used to do. Hey there, LeBron, you're moving kinda slow, but your golden retrievers ready for the show in the Staples Center. The crowd goes wild when they see your pup dribble. Man, that dog's got style. Bark it up, shoot it up from the three-point line. LeBron's golden retriever, making Lakers shine. Oh, LeBron's cheering, his hair's a silver hue, while his furry MVP does what he used to
Maggie
do.
Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie is on vacation. Andrew Bogish is in the studio. A lot going on sports-wise. We started off the show debating, is Team USA men's basketball in trouble? Should Caitlin Clark be on the women's Olympic team? A lot going on for a late July. We have the Olympics coming up quickly. NFL training camps starting and more starting this week. You can give us a call, 855-212-4227 to weigh in on any of those topics. But right now, it is time, Andrew Bogish. It is getting serious. We are down to the Sweet 16 of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. We're trying to figure out the greatest sitcom of all time. We've been voting on Twitter/X, and we're down to 16. All right, you ready, Bogish? These are some good shows. We have some heavyweight battles. Let's start in the Seinfeld region. Number 1 seed Seinfeld gets through, and they face That 70s Show. All right. We're going to do a clip from each show. Pete, let's start with Seinfeld.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have no midsize available at the moment.
I don't understand. I made a reservation. Do you have my reservation?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we ran out of cars.
But the reservation keeps the car here. That's why you have the reservations.
I know why we have reservations.
I don't think you do.
Oh, man, that's good. I wish we had played Jerry Stiller, the dad, George. When we get down, if they get to the Final Four, we got to do a Festivus clip because nothing is funnier than George's dad in Seinfeld. Or what do we got from That 70 Shows? All right, Red threatens Eric. That's like every episode. Okay, let's hear Red.
You know, it occurs to me that since I paid the allowance that bought those records in the first place, that money's mine.
Well, it occurs to me that possession is 9/10 of the law.
Keep up with a smart mouth, and my foot will be 9/10 of the way up your ass.
You know, Red was always threatening violence. You guys ever notice that on That 70 Shows? But then it'd be, at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, he's actually a cool guy. That was like their sort of, he's like, yeah, I'm going to enact child abuse, but then I'll maybe have a beer with you.
But no carryover.
No carryover.
Tuesday, jerk. By the end of Tuesday, good guy. Wednesday morning, about to be a jerk.
Okay. Next up, we got the Fresh Prince. Let's hear a clip from the Fresh Prince with Uncle Phil.
If you were me, what would you do?
I don't know. Forget the whole thing. Get us a couple jet skis.
Look, you big-eared freeloader, you take your little square-headed cousin here, and you find Jeffrey, and you bring him back, or they'll never find your bodies. And I'm a judge. I can make it happen.
Oh, now that we think about it, all the dads and older men were threatening serious violence in these shows. That's sort of the honeymooners, right, Pete? Okay, that goes up against number 2 seed, I Love Lucy. Let's hear Lucy making a joke with Ricky.
Lucy doesn't know the meaning of the word no.
Ethel doesn't either.
Lucy's a sucker for any sales pitch. Ethel is too.
Lucy and Ethel make me sick.
Okay, that's I Love Lucy. Let's move on to the Simpsons region. Number 1 seed, of course, the Simpsons. I mean, listen, there's 30 years of stuff to pull from here. Let's hear from Homer.
You shouldn't wear glasses that weren't prescribed for you.
Lisa, just because you're 10 feet tall doesn't mean you can tell me what to do.
I'm bored. Give me those.
I have no idea what was happening there, but it's still funny. The Simpsons goes up against number 4 seed, the Jeffersons.
Ain't you forgetting where you came from? It ain't the question of where I came from. It's the question of where I am. You are East Side and she is West Side. I don't want no crosstown traffic in my kitchen. George, the Lord created everybody equal. Except in your case, he quit work before he got to your head.
Okay.
Pete's on the floor laughing right now.
Yes. Another noticing thing about old sitcoms is the wife just absolutely shreds the husband. Shreds. Like, you were just like the lowest of people all the time, even though George was awesome. Okay, now this is the heavyweight battle of the Sweet 16. This is where our seating just went awry. Number 14, Family Guy. Let's hear from Peter.
Peter, what the hell? Where's your ski mask?
It's kind of hard to breathe in those things, so I just dressed up like Harry Potter.
All right, let's go.
Lois, if anything should happen to us, I want you to know I haven't been happy for a long time.
Yes, Peter, you've told me that like 10 times.
Who decided on what clips? Is this EJ?
Yes.
These are really funny. That actually does encapsulate a lot of the Family Guy. I don't understand how he dressed. I have to go Google now what he looks like in the Harry Potter outfit. Did he put like the lightning bolt on his head? Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, that goes up against number 2, The Office. Oh, let's hear from Michael.
Everyone, we need to pump at a pace of 100 beats per minute.
Oh, okay. That's hard to keep track. How many is that per hour?
How's that going to help you?
I will divide and then count to it.
Right.
Okay, well, a good trick is to pump to the tune of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Do you know that song?
Yes, I do. I love that song. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
No.
These are funny clips.
I watch the show almost nightly for a little bit before falling asleep on Comedy Central. I probably have seen every episode at least twice, and it's still always funny.
A lot of current pro athletes talk about watching The Office because they're always on the road, so they have to download shows, and it's a very downloadable show, them all. If you were going to go one moment or episode of The Office, what would you pick as the funniest Office? I have 2.
All right, you go first. Let me think.
Scott's Tots, which I saw the other day, where he promises this group of students that he's going to pay for their college education, and there's no money.
See, that is one of my least favorite episodes.
Why?
That one, and where he ruins Phyllis's wedding to Bob Vance, like by trying to make
it too negative.
It's appalling behavior. You can't be forgiven for that. You can't be forgiven for defrauding kids out of a college education.
Oh, come on!
And you can't be forgiven for being insulted that you're not like in the bridal party and commandeering somebody's wedding. Like that's the thing that you stop friendships over. He should have gone to jail for Scott's Tots.
You're insane.
No. He promised kids, if you get good grades, I'll pay for your college education. And he really didn't know what he was doing. He said, no, never mind. I can give you guys a book.
It's The Office.
No.
It's Michael Scott. Everything he says is utterly ridiculous.
No, like last night was the episode where he said he organizes a roast of himself and he hates it. Like that's funny. That's being stupid. He told kids, do well in school and I'll send you to college. And then said, oops, my bad.
You think Michael Scott should have gone to jail?
Yes.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yep.
But my favorite moment of all time is when Kevin walks out with a giant pot of chili that he's been bragging about all episode about his amazing chili making skills and just drops pounds and pounds of chili onto the floor. If you don't laugh at that, I don't know. It is Kevin, who's awesome. It's incredible. You have to admit, that's a good one.
Who does that here? Who's the person that does that here, that drops the chili all over the floor?
I don't know. You got someone in mind?
Who would do it?
Peter Schwartz?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's our Kevin.
See, I would go with our old friend Mike Biseglia.
He would do that, too.
Who would come in.
Yeah.
So, because he also would make something, be proud of it, and then because he's a lovable goof, he would trip and fall and drop it on the way in.
Even, by the way, the fact that I don't know who you're talking about, I'm assuming our audience definitely doesn't know who you're talking about.
If they're Nets fans, they do.
All right, this is interesting. So for me, by the way, Seinfeld, if you want to say the best Seinfeld episode, that's hard to choose. I would go Festivus. That is just like, or when George's dad thinks that George died and yells at George Steinbrenner, why did you trade Jay Buhner? That might be the best line.
I like the Merv Griffin set.
Oh, the Merv Griffin set that smells funny.
Come on down.
That's amazing. It's interesting to me, too. I Love Lucy is the only old show that seems to me like a real contender because a lot of the old shows got knocked out 50s and 60s just because recency bias. But the Family Guy in The Office, you could go to a Maggie and Pearl X feed to vote on this. I think Seinfeld advances, Fresh Prince advances, Simpsons advances, and Family Guy in Office, man, that's going to be 50-50. I think Family Guy pulls the upset of the tournament.
Me too, but I remain very surprised by the Fresh Prince here. I don't know that it's a 3 seed altogether. It personally hurt me that it beat 30 Rock last round. and you think it's going to beat I Love Lucy in a regional final against presumably Seinfeld. Fresh Prince is a good show. Culturally was important. I understand that stuff, but I don't. It's not an all-time show to me.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it's not. It's funny, but it's not like the funniest show. I understand what you're saying. Cap is running Infinity Sports Network in the chat. You can go to our chat, Infinity Sports Network on YouTube. He goes, Scott's Tots, are you psychotic?
Me or you?
Me.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like it either. He can't watch it. So people can't watch Scott's Tots. It's one of the greatest bits in sitcom history.
I like the fire drill.
That was on last night, too.
I like the fire
drill into the roast. Those were back-to-back last night.
I like Michael Scott playing basketball for some reason. That one always kills me, too. Okay.
What does Dwight say? Like, it wasn't the fire drill. Stanley's heart attacked him.
Right.
EJ's in the chat now. He's mad about the Fresh Prince slander. I think
should
it's
be
funny.
out by now.
It's funny. EJ, Maggie, and I came up with a bracket. I wish Bogus was in on there because you would have yelled at EJ's pick so bad. Oh, my gosh.
Like, there's no way. Schitt's Creek is a better show. Is funnier than Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
Straight humor, it's funnier, and it shouldn't have been a 14 seed in the first place.
I created a whole other tournament with 32 other shows.
Our biggest disagreement, EJ is not actually on right now, so I can talk about him behind his back. I think he gave too much of a bias to shows that came up in his age bracket. So Boy Meets World got in over Wonder Years. Like, that is a mistake. Like, that's the wrong Savage Brother.
Or Home Improvement, or Full House, or name it.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, Full House is not exactly the smartest humor of all
Or The
time.
Odd Couple.
Yeah, I get it. Those are old school things. There was a lot of debate. What is a sitcom? That was a huge. Is the Wonder Years
Saved
a sitcom?
by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell is a kid show to me. It's not really a sitcom. That's why I understand it was an important show, and it's a great show for what it is. But it's not like Cheers. I mean, are they the same show? Sitcoms have to be on at night. Anyway, we argued about this. Is Atlanta or a show like that that's more filmed? Is that a sitcom? Anyway, we're going to name a champion. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it now. I would love to see number 14, Family Guy, advance all the way just to prove our seeding wrong. That's not good, is it? All right.
Well, by the way, the bit bracket is up as well on my social media at Pete the Body. 4 teams in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Four shows in the Final Four. And you can go vote until tomorrow at about 1 o'clock.
Wow.
The bit, it has loose rules.
It
Yeah,
does.
roughly 1 o'clock. When Pete remembers to turn the voting off.
It's the working man's tournament.
Are we you got it, Pete. I'm not sure where it is on the rundown. You just got to share them. If you're listening right now, you got to hear the shows in the bit because they are surprisingly strong.
All right, so Home Improvement, we reseeded it in the Elite Eight. So Home Improvement was the number 1, and they're going up against the Wonder Years, which was a 4. And then the Odd Couple, which is number 3, is going up against number 2, Three's Company.
Yeah, Three's Company, when we put out the bracket, a lot of people were mad that wasn't in there. It's sort of the classic sitcom. Yeah, actually, we could probably book the neighbor from Home Improvement, except he can't really do Zoom, as I understand, because he'll be behind a fence.
And
Did anyone watch Home Improvement and understands what I'm talking about right now?
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, who you never saw his face, right? Was one of the great all-time sitcom gags. I watched that show for Pam Anderson, not going to lie. She was the tool girl in that show, right?
For the beginning part of it, then Debbie Dunning was.
I thought was there somebody else too, or was it just 2?
Just 2.
Okay. And then what does Al Borland sell me now? He's on infomercials. He sells me something.
He sells, I think it's like a hose. I saw him selling a hose one time.
Okay. The one that's like fabric that
Yes,
rolls up
yes,
easily?
that you could fold like around a boa constrictor.
Tim Allen was a huge star back then. That show was a big show.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know critically if it was a critical darling. It was one of the kind of like 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory. There's certain critics don't seem to like those shows.
I laughed all the time when I watched that show.
Of course you did.
Home Improvement was, I think, a solid show and very underrated.
Okay, fair enough. Tim Allen was his stand-up was hysterical back in the day.
Excellent.
Did you guys ever see that movie? He was in Galaxy Quest, where it's he's an actor who plays a Star Trek character who goes out of space.
Weaver.
Awesome movie. All right, we're gonna get back to sports next. The M&P 500. We're going to talk about what happened over the weekend. A lot of big sports, a lot of weird sports, a lot of strange things. WNBA All-Star game we'll get into. Team USA basketball struggled. NFL training camps open. A lot going on. You can call us 855-212-4227. Bogus, not panicking about Team USA basketball. I say it's over. No, I'm just kidding. But I do say
don't even bother.
This is a real tournament. Like this is going to be interesting.
And I have a USA basketball adjacent bit of breaking news that probably will make you angry. It will definitely make Pete angry.
All right. Can't wait. Can't wait. We'll be right back. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, every week here on the Maggie Perloff Show, we do the M&P 500. It's our stock up and stock down in sports. I will let Andrew Bogusch, who is sitting in for Maggie Gray, start. Let's go with stock up to begin.
Well, in, I guess, honor of Pete Bellotti and his unending love for Bob Melvin, or for Bruce Bochy, I'm going with Bob Melvin, who's now the Giants manager, who got thrown out before yesterday's Giants-Rockies game.
Good job.
We still don't know what he was angry about. He wouldn't say after the game. He said it wasn't choreographed, but he brought his bench coach out with him to do the lineup card exchange, argued and got thrown out, so the bench coach was already there to finish the pregame meeting thing. I don't know why this happened. I love every second of it. Pete, you can have Bochy. I'm taking Melvin. Stock up for me.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go with former Chicago Bull and NBA player Luol Deng, who built single-handedly, basically, built South Sudan into a competitive basketball team. So we got to see them this Saturday play USA to the brink. Great. They were so much fun to watch. Great team. It felt like an NCAA tournament in the sense that they were hitting a lot of threes. They had a lot of borderline NBA players, but basically this team is only about 12 years old, and Luol Deng used his own money to fund them for a long time, and now they're competitive. They got to the Olympics. It's a great showing. He was a guy who was a top pick out of Duke. He was a good player, but nobody no random fan bought a Luol Deng jersey. Now he's had this great story with him, and I just always seem to have a positive opinion of this guy. And now I think he's going to be a big deal in Paris, and I'm rooting for South Sudan. Not against USA, but you can't help but this would be a great story.
What about South Sudan versus Canada?
Well, I love the Canadian team. I'm just a big fan of all those players, although my guy Shaden Sharp is hurt. He's not there. Big fan of Benedict Mathurin, too. He's not there. That's gonna be choosing between my two kids. That's impossible. I might not even watch. All right, let's go with a stock down. Bogus, you're up.
I'm taking the Atlanta Braves. They're already chasing your Phillies in the NL East. They're having a tough time with the Cardinals and maybe the Mets and maybe some other teams in the wild card chase. And yesterday they put Max Fried, their ace, on the IL with a forearm nerve issue that came up while he was warming up for the All-Star game. Still pitched that night. Came back to the team on Friday, didn't feel good, MRI, nerve irritation out indefinitely. And then during their loss yesterday, Ozzie Albies, their second baseman, broke his wrist playing defense, and now he's out for 2 months. So how can you like the Braves? Already down Acuna Jr. They're already the Braves. How could you like them? And now Fried out for some period of time, and Albies out into September.
And Strider, too.
And Strider's down for the year. They got no guys left.
I mean, after
I think that guy's dead. Cross him off.
After you and I have watched the Braves beat us up for a long time,
a boy can dream.
I'm not going to shed a tear. Okay, I have more bad news with my stock down. Apparently, the Atlanta Braves have a pitcher in their farm system. You might know him, Francisco Vicioso.
Don't know him.
In 3 innings of pitching, he has recorded as follows: 28 walks, 35 wild pitches, 4 hit batters, 20 earned runs, and he has 3 fielding errors and 3 chances. Now, this is on Twitter, and it's been confirmed. It was in the New York Post. He set every possible minor league record for wild pitches. He is basically Nuke LaLoosh in the movie Bull Durham. He has 4 batters. He's awesome. I don't know. This basically is a movie character in real life. And the fact that he had 3 errors and 3 fielding plays is amazing. Like, what does he do right? He's 19, so I guess he has time to improve. He played 10 games in the Dominican Summer League, and that time frame he had an ERA of 60.00. Now,
Not bad.
I'm not great at math.
What did they see in this guy?
I don't know. What
is he? Somebody's son?
I have no
LeBron's
idea.
kid?
He must throw it really hard, but he's just like, I wouldn't get it up. I basically bailed out of baseball at a certain point when the fastball started coming in at 85 miles an hour. Even if it was over the plate, I thought I was going to get hit. This guy I would not want to face. He's amazing. So this is my stock down, Francisco Vicioso. All right, let's do another stock up. What do you got?
I'm sticking with baseball. I'm taking the Royals. They won again yesterday. Seth Lugo, our old friend here in Metsland, his first career complete game, having a renaissance of a season at like 35, 36 years old. He's been great, and the Royals are great. For the third time in their history, they've won 55 or more games in their first 100 of a season. The previous two times, 85 and 2015, they won the World Series. And here they are again doing the same thing in 2024. So look out for KC when we get to October.
Ooh, okay. That'd be fun. I am going to go in a completely different direction for my stock down. Okay, the actress Aubrey Plaza, speaking of sitcoms, she was in Parks and Rec, which was in our greatest sitcom ever bracket. Didn't do really well. It was a 9 seed. Aubrey Plaza, really funny actress. She starred in a lot of things.
White Lotus most recently?
Yes. So she was at I shouldn't be laughing, the 2024 WNBA All-Star Weekend, and she got involved in a game of knockout, fun game. Somehow she tore her ACL. You never see that. She was just playing around before the game, tore
She was
her
playing
ACL.
dodgeball? What'd you say?
She was playing knockout.
Oh, okay.
Knockout.
Stealing third in All-Star Dodgeball?
Oh, that's mean. I didn't even think of our producer.
Kickball. Excuse me.
So All-Star Weekend is supposed to be the most fun you can have. Celebrities all over the place. And you see her courtside next to Sue Bird wearing something on her knee. That is tragic. Can you imagine going out there to shoot with your heroes and ripping your ACL just shooting around?
Although, was it cool that she tore her ACL in a NBA/WNBA facility, and she had she was in the trainer's room. They were like stimulating the knee. She had it was oddly professional, the care she got immediately. And but yeah, that's not a good look.
So you're basically saying it was kind of cool. Like, it's a good story?
I mean, it is a good story. You don't want to tear your ACL, and I'd rather tear my ACL at the WNBA All-Star game as Aubrey Plaza than blow up my knee at Deion Dawkins' celebrity kickball game. So you're choosing one. I'm taking hers, but it is a good story aside from the pain and the rehab and surgery.
I like it. I like it. By the way, I think I screwed up the order, didn't I, Andrew Bogish? That's what happens when Maggie's not here and I'm running the show. Who knows what's going to happen? I was supposed to go stock up.
We'll take it.
So you have another stock. I'll do my second stock up is awesome. So I'm going to do. You want to
double
stock
dip?
up?
Go ahead.
Travis Kelce's mustache is as stock up as you get. It is an elite duster, and the fact that he's dating Taylor Swift and shows up with that thing. I'm sorry. I am Team Travis Kelce. He is cool. I don't care what you say about him. I see Manny Rodriguez is here and sighing. Travis Kelce is awesome, and the fact that he's shaved the side of his head and has a real thick mustache. Very cool. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I'm not. I'm actually waiting for Manny to jump in here because Manny used to have a mustache.
I miss mine,
yeah,
man.
it's gone.
Mine.
He had to shave it for his brother's wedding.
And I shaved last night too. I just keep shaving it off. I'm not letting myself.
Well, you look
grow it
good
out
though.
again.
I think both looks. You're a different person with a mustache.
Yes, that's the thing.
But you do look good without it. I mean, it works for your face.
I don't look as good as Killer Trav though. That's what you're telling me.
You never did, though.
You got to bring the mustache back, though. If you watch this,
that's enough. That's basically like me getting carded. Yeah. All right, I'll bring the mustache back.
I mean, I could tell you want to.
Damn, I kind of do. Yeah.
How long does it take?
2-3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. Why haven't you done it already? I thought it was going to come right back after the wedding. Is there a girl telling you that she likes it like this?
No, there is no girl. I think that might be the issue. I don't know if it's too popular among women nowadays.
Wait.
I think
I
think it's popular among guys.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too popular on Tinder or on Bumble or anything.
I gotcha.
Because women don't like to kiss a man with a mustache? I mean,
Taylor Swift does, so I mean, maybe this will bring us mustachioed men back into the game. But
I feel like Tom Selleck did pretty well.
Yeah, but Tom Selleck also is Tom Selleck. I'm not Tom Selleck. I don't have the
Hey.
same type of clout as Tom Selleck.
Hey, don't sell yourself short, man. You just get a
Thank you,
Lamborghini,
Perloff.
move to Hawaii, solve some crime.
I'm just happy he knew who Tom Selleck was.
I know him from Friends. That's how I know
jeez.
Tom Selleck. That's right, guys. That's right, guys.
Okay.
You know him from Friends. Didn't he date? He dated Rachel.
Dated Monica.
Dated Monica.
Almost married Monica.
Almost married
Loved
Monica.
Monica.
Yeah. The eye doctor.
Do you know what Magnum PI is?
The cop show.
Okay.
That he
By
was
the way,
in.
they brought that show back.
that I found out about after I started Friends.
Okay. All right. Not terrible.
Is that the most famous mustache of all time?
Killer Trav's or Tom Selleck's?
Tom Selleck.
Got to be Tom Selleck.
I think I feel like Charlie Chaplin's mustache is very like.
Raleigh Fingers, the
That's
famous
too
Hall of
baseball
Fame.
specific. No?
Thurman Munson.
Yeah, but you would recognize Raleigh Fingers because it's like a Raleigh Fingers mustache.
I guess.
The Monopoly guy?
There's some bad mustaches. in
Yeah,
history.
then there's some historically bad ones that we don't want to talk about.
Like Manny Rodriguez's, perhaps?
Nah,
different.
We were going different.
Company I want to
directions.
keep.
I love your mustache was great. All right, you have one more stock down, Bogus. What do you got?
Can I get very deep inside F1 for a second?
Oh, jeez.
Were you guys watching the Hungarian Grand Prix yesterday?
Not even a little.
I was in Hungary last summer. Beautiful place.
I was hungry yesterday.
So I think I mentioned
Hungry
this
now.
at the Back to you, Pete.
No, now you got to tell us.
Stock down, Manny.
You got to tell us what happened in F1.
So I don't understand how these things work still, and I am very, very new to this whole operation. But there's teammates. There's 2 drivers per car company, so to speak, in these races. And yesterday, Lando Norris is winning. He's 6, 7, 8 seconds ahead of the field, which is a big lead in F1 racing. He's winning the race, but his team goes on the radio, hey, Lando, it's actually Oscar's got to win this race. So he had to eventually slow down and let his teammate, Oscar Piastri, pass him and win. I don't understand how that's a thing.
That's ridiculous.
Why doesn't and the team gets the points?
Would never happen in NASCAR.
Well, there is big time teamwork in NASCAR.
Yes.
Well,
it's
yeah,
it's not that drastic, but guys help other guys win. They don't move out of the way so they can win, but like they'll do things behind him to make sure that
draft and all that good stuff, but you're not really drafting in that one.
Again, I'm not my field of expertise either, but the last couple laps, like the team stuff goes away and you actually race. But at the very end.
Yeah, no, but on this one,
Yeah.
and they
They'll
kept
wreck
saying,
each
you
other.
got to do it, and he wouldn't do it until the very end. And then he slowed down, and the teammate went past him. And then they finished first and second, just in a different order. And somehow that made sense to them. And this is not the first time it happened, and it's going to happen more. And I don't understand how therefore that dynamic allows them to remain teammates.
That's not good. That takes money probably out of his pocket, too.
I guess, but they also have salaries on top of like whatever they get for a race. So like, and I think they are paid as 1 and 2, not as equals. But still, like the guy's winning, and they're like, yeah, let the other guy win.
I get it because I'm a team first guy. I guess like it seems so foreign to you guys to help your coworkers and your teammates. To me, that's like kind of how I operate on a daily basis. I'm just like, what can I do to make you guys shine?
Is that why it's Maggie and Perloff and not Perloff and Maggie? You were okay with her having top billing?
It should be bogus.
Perloff and Maggie does not come off the tongue. Maggie and Perloff barely does. Perloff and Maggie definitely does not.
It's Perloff and Maggie.
Yeah, this is funny, but I think you're underestimating how important the team is in NASCAR too. That's a huge deal. Obviously, the most famous race ever when Dale Earnhardt Sr. famously died. I think he was blocking it off for Waltrip because he was like a mentee of his.
Right, but I don't know that in NASCAR there's ever teammates moving aside so another guy can win like this.
Yeah. No, this sounds really extreme.
I can't remember the last time Jimmy Johnson got out of the way so Jeff Gordon could win a race.
Okay, Andrew Kaplan is running the Infinity Sports Network YouTube chat for us, and he has some iconic mustaches. Before we get into the sports updates, we forgot some big ones, some huge ones. Burt Reynolds being number one.
Oh, yeah.
Burt Reynolds. But he also brought up Salvador Dali. I don't know why Cap is such an expert in this. Alex Trebek, Ron Swanson. I mean, come on.
It's called Google, too. We probably Googled it.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good point. We could have Googled it, too, to be fair, Pete.
Right.
Freddie Mercury and Steve Harvey. But, yeah, Ron Swanson. I mean, has that guy ever not had a mustache? Maybe Summerall. I don't even remember his real name. What's Ron Swanson's real name? The character from
Nick
Parks and Rec?
Offerman.
Yeah, he's great.
He writes books about being like a burly man.
Here's Saber431 in the chat has BJ Honeycutt and MASH. Now, for us old folks, yeah, I do remember that was a great duster for BJ. You have no idea who I'm talking. Half their man is like, BJ Honeycutt, what is that?
Ash.
That show that's on reruns every day on Channel 34.
You can go to our Twitter feed at Maggie and Pearl and vote on the sitcom bracket. It is not the MASH bracket today. It's the Seinfeld region and the Simpsons region. MASH, I think MASH is still alive, right, Pete?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, MASH is alive.
We all care about the bit.
The Bilotti Invitational Tournament.
Right. For the working man.
But Manny, you're young. You've never seen Three's Company or Wonder Years or any of those shows.
Three's Company's been background noise on my television, growing up. But what was that other show you said? Wonder Years?
Wonder Years?
I'm good. Never heard of it.
I mean, he's barely heard of Friends.
Ridiculous.
Home Improvement.
No, I've watched Friends 3 times.
Manny, have you heard of
Home Improvement? Yes.
And what's the other show, Pete?
The Odd Couple.
The Odd Couple. That's very old.
The Odd, never watched an episode. Maybe I've heard of it.
Who's that? Jack Klugman and Tony Randall?
Yes.
Oof, never heard of those guys in my life.
Oh, here's a good one from Saber. Ned Flanders. I mean, that is an iconic mustache.
The owner of the Leftporium.
Now there's a big debate. Who is funnier in MASH? And only old people would understand that, BJ Honeycutt or Trapper John. Do you guys remember Trapper John MD? Nothing?
Yeah,
because it was a late NFC game, and John Madden would be like, tonight on Trapper John MD. Nothing. Oh, man.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Sorry.
Nothing.
Not
wow.
you, Pete? You got nothing?
No, I'm not a MASH guy.
Really?
Interesting.
Never. It would be on like Rain Delay Theater, like any of those shows.
I say Klinger Radar and means nothing to you.
No.
Colonel Henry Blake.
I tried. I just it didn't sit with me.
Wow.
Didn't sit with me.
I would watch Cheers. I watch everything else.
Yeah.
But MASH just I didn't laugh.
Okay. It's one of those shows where you laugh and you feel something as well. But Pete is heartless, not shocked here.
That's right.
All right, Manny, give us some sports.
All right, guys. Tom Brenneman, he is set to return to the booth after a nearly 4-year hiatus. The Athletic is reporting that the CW is signing Brenneman to call ACC football games, despite them having the Pac-12 packet. Brenneman was caught on a hot mic using a homophobic slur in August of 2020. Couple Brenneman in the news with the political news that broke in the U.S. yesterday. The nation's eyes turned to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, again, to see what Nick Castellanos was up to. Top of the ninth, 2 outs.
1-2 pitch, swung on, and that one's hit well. Left field, going back on it is Reynolds. He's at the track, he's looking up, and that one's not coming back. Nick Castellanos, a solo shot here in the ninth, his 14th of the season, and the Phillies now lead it 6-0.
That's Phillies radio. Castellanos, he hit a home run in his final at-bat of the game as the Phillies avoid a sweep. They beat the Pirates 6-0, Perloff.
It is crazy. So what are the events that he's been to? 7 of them, right?
This began with Tom Brenneman. When Tom Brenneman was apologizing for what he said on that hot mic, Castellanos homered mid-apology. And we have the of Brennan trying to be sincere and apologetic, and Castellanos homered to left. And that has led to Nick Castellanos homering shortly after major news. I don't have the full list in front of me, but the second that Joe Biden's announcement came out yesterday, I saw tweets going, hammer the Castellanos home run line right now.
Yeah.
Do it. And then the dude hit a home run.
It is amazing because he hasn't really been playing that well.
No, he's been bad this year.
Yeah. He's highly paid. Let's see. I've got a list. You got the list. Go ahead, man. Give it to us.
The death of Osama bin Laden, Brenneman's hot mic apology, Queen Elizabeth's death, the update on Charlie Manuel following a stroke, the I-95 collapse in Philadelphia, Trump's assassination attempt, and Biden ending re-election bid. Castellanos hit a home run the same day of all of those days.
It's so bizarre.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
And he only has 14 homers on the year. It's not like he's Aaron Judge who hits a homer every game.
Yeah, and the Yankees still end up losing. How fun is that? Guys, Shohei Ohtani went boom again yesterday. Because of course he did. He's Shohei Ohtani.
2-1 is hammered. Deep right center field. Way out of here. Ohtani joins the home run party. A 30 home run season for Shohei Ohtani.
Dodgers Radio Network, a 473-foot blast for Ohtani was the second of back-to-back jacks for the Dodgers, belly to belly, as John Sterling would say. Along with Austin Barnes as the Dodgers, they beat the Red Sox 9-6 to complete the sweep. The Braves, they have taken a major blow as Ozzie Albies is headed to the IL after leaving Sunday's game. X-rays revealed a fractured wrist. Albies is expected to miss 8 weeks as the Braves fell to the Redbirds 6-2. Xander Schauffele, he shot a 65 in the final round to win the Open Championship. He finishes 2 strokes ahead of Justin Rose and Billy Horschel, who was the leader headed into Sunday. Schauffele is the first golfer since Brooks Koepka in 2018 to claim 2 majors in one season. He also becomes the first man since Rory McIlroy in 2014 to win the PGA Championship and the Open in the same year. Cam Akers in the NFL, he's headed to the Houston Texans, according to ESPN. Akers is recovering from a torn left Achilles, his second tear of the tendon in his career. He joins a running back room already occupied with Dameon Pierce and Joe Mixon. And a couple of NBA signings, the Cavaliers and big man Evan Mobley have come to terms on a 5-year, $224 million max rookie extension, which could be worth as much as $269 million. And Hauser, he gets an extension as well as he and the Celtics come to an agreement, $45 million over the next 4 years. Back to you guys.
Bogus, you and I had an issue about Sam Hauser, and I'm barely remembering it.
Not an issue, just that he's getting a 4-year, $45 million deal on the heels of Derek White's 9-figure extension, all that money to Tatum and Brown. And the Celtics will eventually have over a $500 million payout for one season between salary and their luxury tax bill, and they're for sale. So if you buy the Celtics, that's what you're signing up for. Maybe more, maybe wins, maybe titles, but the highest single season roster expense ever.
That's not what the issue was. It was, you were giving an update and you're talking about how the Celtics didn't have a bench. And I said, what about Sam Hauser? That guy's a baller. And you looked at me like I was crazy.
That is not what happened at all.
That's exactly what happened.
Not even a little bit.
That is not what happened.
Editorialize my updates. I would not have said the Celtics don't have a bench. You asked about, you somehow brought up your love for Sam Hauser.
I didn't say love for Sam
and
Hauser.
I wrote
like,
updates about it after the fact.
You were saying that and it's true, like the Celtics did not necessarily, at certain points of the playoffs, did not have an impactful bench. And I was like, well, Sam Hauser is going to come out and play some ball. And you're like, Sam Hauser, get out of here.
So okay, that is what I remember is the back end of that you started it by saying something about Sam Hauser and the rest of us laughed. But I don't think me or EJ or Maggie said something. You brought up Sam Hauser unprovoked, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I was and then Sam Hauser hit 48% of his threes in the round against Miami. Like, he was really, really good in this playoffs. Anyway, he deserves some money. I don't know where the Celtics are getting this money. I don't know who's buying this team. It is a bizarre situation. We could get into, do you think there's any leftover tension with Jaylen Brown saying it's ridiculous that Derek White's on the Olympic team and not me? I mean, they are Celtics teammates.
See, that is a USA basketball story that I want to talk about. Not just almost losing to South Sudan. Give me all the Jaylen Brown Nike conspiracies that you want. This is the biggest clique, boys club going. He wears the wrong sneakers, so he can't be on the team.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's get into it next. We'll be right back. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
Woke up, felt a change in the air. Reached for his razor. Then he woke up, felt a change in the air. Reached for his razor, didn't have a care. He shaved it off that iconic mustache. Now he's just a face, lost in the mass. How many ways did you go? Without your mustache, we just don't know. Bring back the charm, the style, the flair. Grow it back, many. Show us you can. Walk through the town, no one said hi. Strangers glanced by, couldn't recognize his upper lip bare, a shocking new sight. The mustache gone, it just isn't right. How many ways did you go? Without your mustache, we just don't know. Bring back the charm, the style, the flair. Grow it back, Daddy. Show us you care. Show us you care.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie Perloff. If you missed it this weekend, Team USA barely beat South Sudan in basketball. LeBron James scored at the end, sort of took over the game in the second half. To be fair, South Sudan got super hot from outside. Team USA seems to have some problems, but it's early. There's a lot of time left. Bogus, you teased some news that you said would not make Pete and I happy. Is this Olympic related?
It's Olympic related. It will definitely make Pete angry. It will bother you to some extent. So I am very happy to deliver it. Sit back, pour yourself some wine.
Okay.
Because this Friday, I'm not sure the exact time here, but this Friday, opening ceremonies of the Paris Games, I believe the athletes on boats floating down the Seine, which may or may not be too fecal matter infested to swim in.
Yeah.
But the honor of carrying the American flag in Friday's opening ceremonies has been bestowed upon the one and only LeBron James Sr.
Whoa.
First men's basketball player ever to be so selected in the wonderful Olympic history of our country. LeBron is the Team USA flag bearer.
Oh, boy. Is he going to complain about that, too?
I'm assuming he's going to love it. I think your concern would be that he's overblowing it, over-exaggerating how amazing an honor it's going to be.
I was rooting for the South Sudan so hard, it was not even funny.
Are we allowed to come out and say we are rooting for Team USA men's basketball drama?
I am loving any drama from that team because that team is filled with drama.
Okay, but I have to ask you this, Pete.
Yes.
If not LeBron James, can you name a non-basketball player, another men's Olympian in this Olympics?
No.
No. And you know who else can? Anybody. Because I looked at the list of other, there are no other options. There are some famous women in this tournament.
Simone
Obviously,
Biles.
Simone,
like in general.
Katie Ledecky.
Yes.
Simone Biles. But the men, it was slim pickings. Who else would possibly qualify? Somebody who's had Olympic success.
Right, because it is kind of almost like a career achievement award.
Yeah.
Right? It's like these are his last games, so that's why he gets the call here.
It makes sense.
Simone Biles is good competition because I don't think there's any guarantee she's in the next Olympics.
Wait, isn't there a men's and a women's, or there's just one?
No, there's just one. He carries the flag.
Has Simone Biles ever carried it?
I don't know.
She's
who did
very
it.
short. That'd be a big lift.
The aerodynamics might be an issue.
Who's the other most famous man? I think is Noah Lyles, the sprinter. Is the other famous?
Right, there's a couple of holdover swimmers, but I don't think they're more famous than Noah.
I don't think they're favored.
Like Caleb Dressel is in these games.
Yeah, but they're not favored like Michael Phelps used to be, right?
No, that I can't speak to. They're certainly
Okay.
not Michael Phelps level, like historically.
So I looked at a list of other famous men. Scotty Scheffler will be representing the U.S.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
No.
There's Victor Montalvo is our best breakdancer, and I feel like breakdance is going to get a lot of attention in Paris. New Olympic sport.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean you can't give him the flag yet, but I say he's a front runner for
Breakdance is out with the flag.
front runner for 28. Here's one of the more famous possible gold medalists. Chase Buttinger is a favorite at men's beach volleyball. Do you remember that dude?
Yeah.
NBA player, University of Arizona, had an 8-year NBA career, was on the Rockets. And he apparently is a baller in beach volleyballer. But there's just not a lot of guys we know. There are definitely a lot more women. Sha'Carri Richardson. It doesn't seem like the men had a lot of options. So LeBron, I'm not mad about LeBron because who else are you going to go with?
Yeah. Now, I think Simone Biles would be is my first thought, but I also don't know. Some of the events, I know women's soccer has this problem. They play the next day, so they're not even going to be in the opening ceremonies. I don't know when gymnastics starts, but Simone Biles might not even be part of the ceremony. Therefore, she can't carry the flag. Therefore, it goes to LeBron.
I'm still going with the breakdancer. Breakdance out there.
You're right, Pete.
Be great.
That's a missed opportunity. You could dance like around the flagpole. That's perfect.
In a few years, when they add video games to the Olympics, you could have a video gamer come out and carry the flag.
Virtually from his basement.
Yeah. Right.
I once interviewed Bugga, who won the most famous ever Fortnite tournament. That was awesome. He's from Philly. Okay, the past flag bearers for the Summer Games, Sue Bird did it.
Okay.
But I'm seeing multiple flag bearers for each one. So in 2020, it was Kara Winger, Eddie Alvarez, and Sue Bird. Then in 2018, I've seen Simone Biles and Michael Phelps. Double check that there's not a man and a woman.
So Biles has done it already.
Yes.
So that's maybe part of the answer why LeBron gets it.
I've seen, in 2004, Dawn Staley and Mia Hamm did it. So those are pretty famous
Did
names.
Jordan ever do it?
Well, he was only there in 92, right? Did he ever? Did he go back in 96?
He would have been around to do it.
So you're right, by the way, because now the newer tweets are saying he's the men's flag bearer.
Right.
So there is a female representative.
In 1994, and I know this, there was a woman named Cammie Myler. There's no way you guys remember. She was the first premier women's luger, and she represented the United States. She went to my college, Dartmouth College. So we all knew who Cammie Myler was. So that's very exciting. Rulon Gardner once went. Remember him, the wrestler? Most famous wrestler of all time? I'm not mad at LeBron. If you have any thoughts on us, give us a call, 855-212-4227. LeBron James will be the flag bearer. I mean, he's tall. It makes sense.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
It makes sense.
Have a glass of wine and head out. Really ridiculous.
All right, we'll get to the NFL training camp next. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Glass gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars?
You're way off. Forget it.
Perilous fight. I'm off.
You're gone already.
Glass gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars?
You're way off. Forget it.
Perilous fight. I'm off.
You're gone already.
Glass gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars?
You're way off. Forget it.
Perilous.
Peter Bellotti, he's a man of many tastes, but he's got a debt, and it's not going to waste. Andrew Bogusch is waiting, he's been oh so kind for that well-seasoned steak. It's been on his mind. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. Andrew Bogusch's been patient, but he's starting to drool, thinking about that steak. Oh, it's making him cool. Peter Bellotti, don't delay. It's time to make amends. Cook up that steak, and they'll be the best of friends. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. A dash of salt, a pinch of pepper, garlic and herbs, oh it couldn't get better. Sizzle on the grill, make it medium rare. Peter Bellotti, show Andrew you care. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. So let's end this saga with a juicy bite. Andrew Bogusch and Peter Bellotti, friends under the night. With a steak well cooked, this story's complete. Peter Bellotti, your debt is now sweet. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew bake that steak. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. A dash of salt, a pinch of pepper, garlic and herbs, oh it couldn't get better. Sizzle on the grill, make it medium rare. Peter Bellotti, show Andrew you care. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. So let's end this saga with a juicy bite. Andrew Bogusch and Peter Bellotti, friends under the night. With a steak well cooked, this story's complete. Peter Bellotti, your debt is now sweet.
One minute remaining.
EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans, living in the Big Apple. They're part of the grand plan, but they just witnessed a crushing defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man. That's hard to beat. Sitting in the
the studio, talking about the game. Maggie and Perloff, it ain't all the same. Perloff's a Philly fan. It's hard to stand when your team's on top and your heart.
$15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Nobody likes to overreact to a random social media video of training camp more than Andrew Perloff. But what happened this weekend was just ridiculous. Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff Show. Andrew Bogus sitting in for Maggie. So the Chiefs are in camp, and Patrick Mahomes is, let's say, rounding into shape. A little bit of a dad bod coming into training camp, which I fully appreciate. Best quarterback ever, and partly because of that in my mind. It's amazing.
I think he actually has, and we're one to talk, but like he's got the flak jacket, like the rib protector on as well underneath his shoulder pads, which adds to his girth. But I still think there's like a little ring of chub underneath the guard.
He's talked about it many times. Like he has a dad bod.
In the age of I'm in the best shape of my life, he shows up and I'll be ready by September. No worries.
Okay, so
the only thing he doesn't do is take a second job in the offseason to pay the bills like the old guys used to do. Like I sold Toyotas in the offseason and now I'll train in training camp for the season.
Yeah, but we saw the Netflix documentary. His wife keeps him so busy that he's...
Speaking of that.
Yeah, I mean... but that's not the news here today. We got to see a video of him rolling out of the pocket, throwing against the grain, down the length of the field, and rookie Xavier Worthy out of Texas makes a sort of half diving catch in the end zone. And our executive producer, who is at home right now, he's laid up with a torn patellar tendon. On the production call last night, he's like, "Did you see that pass?" I mean, like the Chiefs are going to figure out their vertical game.
Did you see that catch? I think.
See that catch
was presented.
I mean, this means nothing, right? It's just a highlight.
This is the South Sudan exhibition game of football.
They're wearing shorts. And I understand the Chiefs have been, EJ's right about one thing. They've been talking a lot about the vertical passing game. I think it is a little bit not talked enough about how bad they were offensively last year. They won the AFC title game 17-10, and they scored 19 points in regulation in the Super Bowl. Like they're basically the 2000 Ravens right now. They did not do anything on offense last year. Patrick Mahomes came out and said it was a grind. It was a lot tougher than people thought. It is amazing to me what happened. It's been well documented. Basically, defenses adjusted and took the big play away from the Chiefs. So Mahomes had to dink and dunk down the field.
And Tyreek Hill was gone. But that's why they were able to do it.
So it was a lot of bubble screens to Rashee Rice, a lot of Isaiah Pacheco, a lot of Kelsey working the seam. I think that is a hard way to win football games. I think it's easier when you get some big plays. So they draft Xavier Worthy. They signed Hollywood Brown, former first-round pick. I think they brought back McCole Hardman.
After a useless year with the Jets.
Yes. So they have a lot of speed on the outside. Now we see Worthy in training camp. Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs have properly addressed this problem?
Well, no, because the video we saw yesterday does not prove anything. But God forbid everyone fainting over this yesterday that this is the harbinger of things to come, then you look out the rest of the NFL. Like if Xavier Worthy reestablishes the Tyreek Hill effect to any extent, and the Chiefs can go back to just straight out scoring you with that defense, then no one's winning the AFC other than them. Don't tell me about Joe Burrow being healthy or anybody else in any other team. If Xavier Worthy is as good as one catch against a teammate made everyone feel yesterday, then all bets are off. But I mean, to me, the only thing that matters in this video is the throw, because he's going left, Mahomes.
Yeah.
He opens up his hips and his shoulders, and he puts it on the dime, wherever that is, 40, 50 yards down the field. Like, I don't want to sound like whomever, but I think I would have caught it. Now, I might not have run fast enough to get down there, but, like, it's not a contested catch. He's not a speedster. And the video, thankfully, is actually on our TV right now. The throw is the only unique part of this, in my estimation. And we already knew Mahomes could make it.
Of course. And
a catch is a catch, whatever.
That's the famous pro day throw where you roll against your body and you open up and you chuck it down. A lot of quarterbacks can do that now. It's funny. But obviously Mahomes is probably the most talented quarterback at doing this. So Xavier Worthy, we've had this debate on the show before, obviously set the combine record 4.2140.
Yes.
The dude can fly.
Yes. And wanted to set the record, which was my favorite part of it. As we saw again the other day, he asks back out there, or he didn't have to run a second time.
Yeah.
But he did to try to beat the record.
Here is my issue with Xavier Worthy, and it's quite simple. He played 14 games at Texas last year. Outstanding college football team. Number 3 in the country. Final 4. He had 5 touchdowns in 14 games. This guy can fly. He's got Steve Sarkisian calling plays. He's got a future NFL quarterback and Quinn Ewers for most of the games. How come he didn't do more?
I would agree. What he looks like on paper, he would be one of those guys that catches 12 balls total and 8 of them are touchdowns.
Right.
Not the other way
He's
around.
The opposite. He actually had his best receiving season yardage-wise, 1,000 yards, which is really impressive. He started out as a freshman. He had 12 touchdowns. Then he had 9 the following year and 5 as a junior. And I know there were some drops. I know A.D. Mitchell kind of ate into his productivity.
Right.
But I just worry about I am nervous about the fast guy. When my guy Andy Dalton was a quarterback of the Bengals, they drafted John Ross, who I think had the record as well.
Yes, that's the record Worthy broke.
And by the way, John Ross was much more productive in his last season in Washington. I think he had 1,800 yards. He's a guy who you thought had all the speed. We know that time speed does not translate to the NFL. We know, for example, Hollywood Brown could fly, and he has not really delivered as a first-round pick.
Is he on 3 teams now?
Yeah, so I don't buy that you could just add these speedsters and all of a sudden the Chiefs are going to be more wide open on offense. I think it's harder than that.
It's harder than that, but knowing what they can do when they had Tyreek Hill, they need to never stop trying to find somebody that can play like that. So,
but nobody can beat Tyreek Hill.
No. But
they thought Mecole Hardman would be that, and he's not.
Right. So, and Xavier Worthy might not be, and they don't need Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But if Tyreek Hill is a 10, if they get a guy that's like a 6 or a 7, they're still significantly more dangerous than they were last year when they won the Super Bowl again.
Yep. Bottom line, though, this team on paper should be a strong title contender. I just don't think anyone can. It's never happened. So much has to go right to win a Super Bowl. You have to stay healthy. That's number one. And they needed a play here or play there to get away from the Eagles 2 years ago. They needed Kyle Shanahan to take the ball first in overtime to win the Super Bowl last year. Just so much has to go right. I love the Chiefs. I love Andy Reid. I love Mahomes. I love Steve Spagnuolo, the way he's running that defense. Yes. I think you have to be very, very nervous about picking them to three-peat.
Right, but the argument against the three-peat is just like the historical it never happens, right? That's the thing.
Yes.
And I mean that's a valid argument because you do need to stay healthy, or I don't know what Patrick Mahomes has in it. He almost looks like you and I watch The Boys. He looks like Kimiko, who can regrow her injuries. Like you shoot her and the bullets fall out of her. She got torn in half this season and she goes back together. He suffers high ankle sprains for fun and doesn't miss a game.
Dude was limping at halftime of the Super Bowl and came out and was perfect.
Spiking helmets, crying, slamming the sideline. I don't understand how he's able to survive some of the injuries that he has survived. And not even just coming back quickly. It's almost never leaving the field with injuries that knock guys out for weeks at a time. And, the referee can mess it up. The other team can mess. You could just find, a bad day, a bad matchup. So, but it's not about football. From a football standpoint, there's not necessarily a reason to pick against them.
Well,
and then especially if this kid works out, then look out.
Well, there are a couple of reasons. I think you go. Rashee Rice will. I don't know.
Time.
He will miss time.
Yes.
For his off-season driving incident, and Travis Kelce's getting a little older. And Tyreek Hill, when he left, I didn't think they were going to do this, and man, they have. But Travis Kelce is even more important. He was the entire offense in the postseason.
Right.
He was the only consistent factor. So he's 34 now. He's going to turn 35 in October. Also, too, like, I would assume defensive coordinators are working on this guy after what he did in the playoffs. Like, you know, I saw the playoff games. I'm like, is anyone going to cover Travis freaking Kelce? What is going on here? He is wide open by 10 yards. So I think Kelce is a big issue. Again, health. The defense is great. They lost L'Jarius Sneed, went to Tennessee, but they still have Chris Jones. You're right. Logically, I can't think of any reason to bet against him. I'm going with history. Now, you say that just saying history has never happened is not a reason to say it won't happen. Is that true? In the sense that there's obviously a reason it's never happened because there's such parity in the NFL. It just seems like now we have a three-peat. Now there's a dynasty. With the salary cap era, the teams are way too close. I think last year Baltimore was right there. If they'd done a couple things differently, they could have win. And this year there's going to be
Maybe if West doesn't fumble at the pylon.
Yeah, there's just so many teams that are so close to them.
No, it's a valid argument. It would mean more to me, I guess, if in this singular year we were talking about a roster like decimated by free agency, that kind of thing. That we assume Travis Kelce will show his age, but it might not be this year. And they were okay. They've been okay, to say the least, post Tyreek Hill. So part of me thinks they'll know how to survive 4, 6, or 8 games without Rashee Rice, and maybe it's Xavier Worthy, maybe it's a combination of him and Hollywood Brown. Maybe Isaiah Pacheco becomes that much more dangerous from that running back spot. So the history thing, it's true. Like, it tells you that it's hard to get this done. But for me, the number one argument against the Chiefs is not that on the football field they're not as dangerous as they used to be. Because to me, they are still just as dangerous and just as good and deep.
Do you think are they as talented as the San Francisco 49ers?
Player to player.
Well, they do have Mahomes compared to Purdy.
Right, so
take out the quarterback. Is their roster as good as the Niners?
I mean, I think Mahomes, other than Kelce, but maybe not even, like, wouldn't you, if you were the Chiefs, forgetting personal connections and history as contextless as possible, you would trade the other 10 chief offensive players for the non-Purdy Niners offense.
Yeah. What?
Like, you would, if you could just take the offensive line, the wide receiver group, and the running backs for Kansas City and swap them for the Niners, you would do that all the time.
Right. And also the Chiefs have some instability. They're not sure who's starting left tackle right now. All reports are. That seems like a big deal. Remember when they lost to the Bucs in the Super Bowl and Tom Brady? That's because their O-line got hurt, and they've been able to patch together these O-lines.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. You're right. They totally would swap. They are elite at one position, for sure. Are you aware who their backup quarterback is?
This year it's Carson Wentz.
Is that amazing? Carson Wentz might get a ring. Again, a second ring. He might get a second ring where he's not in the game.
Is he still getting paid by like 3 different teams to not be on those teams, or is that all done now?
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know the offset language. By the way, he's definitely good enough to be a backup quarterback in this NFL. The fact that he couldn't sign with a team last year was weird.
And how old is he?
I would guess he's 30. What do you think he is?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Does he have 5 or 10 years left to just collect checks as a backup?
He's 31. He got in last year. It was the Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz battle at the end of the season and a meaningless game. I thought both of them looked pretty good. Maggie can't stand Sam Darnold's game.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz came in. Yeah, at the end, he was in a meaningless game.
For the Rams?
Week 18 for the Rams. Came in with 17 for 24, 160 yards, 2 TDs for the Niners. I watched a game. NFL Network's been showing old games. It was, I think, 2018. I mean, it's a great mystery to me why Carson Wentz is not a good NFL quarterback. Dude's got a cannon, could move like crazy. Is it just because he was not well liked in the locker room? I understand. Then he went to Indy. He had 27 touchdowns and 7 picks. He came up really short at the end. But he's clearly got the talent. It shows you talent isn't enough.
Talent's definitely not enough. I think not just interceptions, but the lack of regard that he showed at times for like ball security and understanding the moment spook some teams. And to some extent, the personal stuff, the teammate stuff has to be a factor. I don't know what the percentage is, but I mean, that's got to be on the table that some people just think he doesn't play well as the leader of a team.
The other guy that always mystified me how his career didn't go longer, How come RG3 is only 34 right now? Like, why? He's the most talented incoming quarterback I ever saw. He could fly. He was Lamar Jackson fast and had this gorgeous throwing form, and it was really good to watch. And then he kept tearing up his knee.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he wasn't bigger in the league.
I mean, unless just those knees don't pass medical checks.
Yeah, I know he wanted to play. He's only 34.
And he's in shape still. He's in better shape than Mahomes is right now, probably.
Meanwhile, we have Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles at 40. We have all sorts of old quarterbacks. Certain guys just do not stick. All right, if you want to weigh in on the Chiefs' chance of three-peating, will Carson Wentz actually play this year? That's a sort of a side topic here. But do they have a vertical passing game with all these fast guys? I'm still very skeptical. Despite one Instagram video, which is a lot of fun. Call us 855-212-4227. A lot going on here today. We updated the Sweet 16 of the greatest sitcom bracket ever, Maggie and Perloff style. Trying to figure out what's the best sitcom of all time. You can vote at Maggie and Pearl on X. It is a strong set of opponents today. Seinfeld versus 70 Show, Fresh Prince versus I Love Lucy, Simpsons versus Jeffersons, Family Guy versus The Office in the Battle Royale. We'll update those results later, and we will get into the British Open. Big disagreement between Bogus and I. That's next, Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Coming up, we're going to speak to Joe Vardon from Europe about Team USA's close call against South Sudan on Saturday in basketball. But first this weekend, the Open Championship of Royal Troon. It was a sort of a quiet final day because the eventual winner, Xander Schauffele, never really, once he got the lead, held on to it, and there was not any drama, sort of coasted into the clubhouse with an insurmountable 3-shot lead that ended up being a 2-shot lead over Justin Rose. I don't think the ratings could have been very good for this tournament because the leaders coming in were guys like Billy Horschel that you've heard of, but I don't think you tune in for. Scottie Scheffler was hanging around a little bit, but it didn't seem like there were enough big names for the casual fan to tune in for me, Bogish.
So we're going to find out, going back and looking at the previous 3 majors, Tuesday morning seems to be when we get the ratings, so we'll know this tomorrow or by Wednesday at the latest. Now, the Masters this year did not do well, even with Scheffler winning, but there was no drama on Sunday, and it was Easter Sunday, which appears to be at least part of the idea that people were not out at bars or whatever watching things. That didn't help. But the PGA Championship, which did begin with the Scottie Scheffler arrest, which got more attention on the weekend to begin with, the PGA on Sunday, back in May, a 10% increase from the 2023 event.
Is that good, though? I mean, 10% from a low number or a high number?
Sure. The context is a lot of golf ratings have been down. Yeah. It goes back to all the live golf stuff. It goes back to, I guess, post-Tiger.
It's post-Tiger, I think. Okay.
So the raw, like historically speaking, the raw numbers compared to 15, 20, 30 years ago might not be great, but a 10% increase is a 10% increase. And that's what the PGA Championship got while Xander Schauffele charged late on Sunday and won. Then the U.S. Open, which was Rory collapsing, DeChambeau winning. As that was all happening, in the final half hour or so,
that was a good one.
Had over 11 million viewers, which was the highest audience for that event in 9 years. So
that was wild.
The last 2 majors have done well.
Right, but those had reasons. This one, in my opinion, did not have a reason to watch. Xander Schauffele seems like a super nice guy.
But he was the one that you watched on the Sunday of the PGA win in the same fashion. Shot a 65 to rally and win that, and he shot a 65 yesterday to shoot the leaderboard and win.
But, yeah, okay, maybe you're right. I just think, what... I don't know, Manny, did you think there were obvious storylines in the British Open?
No, not one.
Yeah.
Not one. I mean, you mentioned when Rory was starting to choke at the end of one of the major... What major was that again?
The U.S. Open.
The U.S. Open, when he started to choke.
Yeah, that was huge.
I mean, that caught my attention. But I mean, the only reason that I knew that the Open was really on was because I was over here and it was already on the TVs.
Right, but like when the U.S. Open and it's Rory and DeChambeau late, it wasn't like 14 people were watching and then 11.4 turned their TV on for the final half hour. The audience was already big, and then it got bigger because of what the late drama was. So
we'll find out tomorrow. There were some other interesting names. Thriston Lawrence, who's a 27-year-old pro out of South Africa named Thriston. Not even Thurston. I mean, okay. And
my guy Maverick McNeely didn't do much after my mention on Friday, so he's out.
Russell Henley did well, which is really cool. Isn't that the British comedian who was married to Katy Perry?
That's Russell Brand.
Okay.
Sorry to kill that story. Close.
There was a guy named Daniel Brown who was getting a lot of attention this week, like sort of a
first-time major participant, almost won, had the lead, I think, Thursday into Friday, right?
Came back down to even. I saw Alex Noren was hanging around a lot.
Your guy Shane Lowry looked like on Saturday he was going to win the whole thing, and then he fell apart. Then he played like me and you at the back, on the back half of his day.
Actually, Xander Schauffele, I've heard several, very likable, but to me, a guy like Shane Lowry is more interesting. Something about him, I would have rather seen him make a run for drama's sake. All right, what else happened in sports this weekend, Manny?
Yeah, you guys mentioned it in the last hour. Men's basketball athlete LeBron James has been voted by his fellow Olympians to be Team USA's flag bearer at the opening ceremony when things kick off on Friday. He was nominated by USA Basketball and Stephen Curry.
On behalf of the entire men's Olympic basketball team, we would like to nominate LeBron James to be the flag bearer for all of Team USA. He got that honor, so you get to wave the flag in Paris, my man.
James becomes the first men's basketball player to carry the flag for Team USA, as Sue Bird and Dawn Staley were previous basketball players to have served in the honorary role.
It's special in the fact that, to get an opportunity to, represent your country, in another fashion, to be able to understand how prestigious, this moment is, and for someone to have to be the flag bearer and to wave the flag for not only for us as a men's national team, but for all the Olympians. I hold that with the utmost honor, and it's definitely something that my family and my community and my friends is something that will live on forever, and super appreciative and super humble about it.
The NBA's all-time leading scorer is headed to his fourth Olympics, winning gold in Beijing in 2008 and in London in 2012, and a bronze medal in 2004 in Athens. Team USA's women flag bearer will be announced on Tuesday. Over the weekend in the NFL, two-time Super Bowl champion Shaquille Barrett retired. The 31-year-old signed a one-year contract with the Dolphins back in March after being cut by the Buccaneers in an effort to cut salary. But in an Instagram post yesterday, Barrett says it's time for him to shift his full focus on his wife and kids. The Packers, they signed nose tackle Kenny Clark to an extension. His agents told ESPN the agreement is for 3 years at $64 million. This could give Clark a career earnings of over $150 million. The 28-year-old recorded a career-high 7.5 sacks last season.
Can we take it one step back to the Dolphins, by the way?
Sure, go ahead.
Shaq Barrett retires. Do you realize Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, maybe two of their best defensive players, they're going on PUP. They both got injured late in last season. Christian Wilkins is in Vegas. I got into this with Maggie last week. Like, Miami's lost their entire defense, and they have a new defensive coordinator. Like, this is a playoff team that has a major, major issue. In fact, I'm not sure there's a bigger red flag, and I feel like I'm the only one who notices this. Does no one else notice that everyone's gone in Miami? And they got all hurt last year, and they're not healthy, and still everyone's picking them to be the playoffs. What's going on here, Bogus?
Well, everybody still giggles over Mike McDaniel and his offense.
Yes, I think they're ignoring the fact that the defense has a lot of money invested in it, and Jalen Ramsey's getting older, too. I just think this is a big problem. I think Shaq Barrett leaving normally wouldn't be a big deal, but they kind of need him. So we'll see. I mean, I would love it if there were some shootouts with Miami. Sorry, go ahead, Manny.
To college football, LSU sophomore cornerback Javian Tovian has surrendered to authorities on charges of video voyeurism, according to the East Baton Rouge Parish's Sheriff's Office. The 19-year-old Texas native is accused of having sex with a woman and recording it without her consent. The woman told detectives she found the videos on Tovian's iPad that were recorded through a clock with a built-in camera placed near the bed. The woman also told detectives that he has recorded them having sex in the past without her consent and told him she did not want to be recorded. Tovian, in an interview with detectives, admitted to using the hidden cameras. He played in every game last season as a freshman at LSU. Baseball scores. The Yankees keep struggling. They fall to the Rays 6-4. The Dodgers finish a sweep of the Red Sox 9-6. The Brewers, they hold off the Twins 8-7. And Ozzie Albies, he fractures his wrist in a Braves loss to the Cardinals 6-2.
Does that mean Manny, you can promise me the Braves are going to go away for good? Like this is because I've seen them.
Aren't the Phillies didn't the Phillies have like a 10.5 game lead?
They came back after the All-Star break and dropped a couple games, and this is where nerves come in.
No Acuna, no Albies.
So the Braves are
be all right.
still.
I think the Phillies will be all right.
Still 10 games over 500. They're like the Baltimore Ravens. They lose parts and they reform Terminator 2 style. I think, and Bogus sitting here as a Mets fan, pretty cocky about the Braves falling apart too. I just worry about this team. I've just seen them find guys and beat my team too many times. And how are they already 10 games over 500 with all these injuries? You have to admit, there is a special superpower of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, because everybody else on that roster is usually good too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been an incredible amount of losses, and they are still, and the pitching staff has been, for a couple of years, like lost guys. I just worry about them. You count them out. They remind me so much. The Ravens lose every defensive player every year and come back and just destroy everybody. So that's my Braves. You can call us 855-212-4227. Are you okay with LeBron being the flag bearer? I actually, Bogus thought I was going to get mad at that because I found LeBron a little obnoxious lately. I have no
why
problem.
is that?
I think it goes back to the JJ Redick podcast with the wine. Oh, you're making fun of me. But I have no problem. He had to be the flag bearer. In fact, there was no choice. If you pull back, this was the most obvious choice of all time. I mean, who else was it going to be?
Yeah, I mean, you've done the deep dive on the other potential nominees. I'll just say that he's maybe the best basketball player of all time, a four-time Olympian, 2 gold medals.
No, there's no maybe.
Olympics.
Wait. There's no maybe best basketball player of all time. I may be an NFL quarterback. I'm not. He's not the best basketball player of all time.
Because that's a fair comparison.
Basically. Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time. LeBron James is the second best basketball player of all time.
Right. So again, maybe he's the best of all time.
There's no maybe.
You are not maybe anything as an NFL quarterback. You could spell quarterback. That's about it.
Are you a LeBron over Jordan guy?
I'm not a LeBron over Jordan guy, but I think there's probably a way where you could put LeBron over Jordan. The fact that it's even a conversation in any regard is a compliment to LeBron.
Because you were in a coma when Jordan played? Is that the way you do it?
No, like I'm allowing for the fact that I loved Jordan growing up, skewing my opinion of Michael.
Okay, anyway, it does make sense.
So you're putting him at number 2 on the list.
Yes.
I didn't say that maybe Jalen Brunson's the best player of all time.
Jalen Brunson? There are 500 other NBA basketball players.
Because you're sitting there and EJ's on my phone right now. So I picked the number 2 guy. And there are people that know basketball that will have a LeBron James greatest of all time conversation.
I think Bob Cousy deserves to be in that number 2 slot.
So all I'm saying is he might be the best of all time.
I don't know. I feel like you're throwing in the maybe. It's just a weird maybe at that time.
I don't think he is, but other people do.
So other people think a lot of things. That doesn't mean it all may be true.
Who's number 2 then, Perloff?
No, he
number
thinks
2 is
LeBron's
LeBron. I mean, Jordan is such a strong one. I think the LeBron people say, well, the whole LeBron-Jordan debate is a construct of LeBron James fans. There's no real debate.
You're making it sound like LeBron's like 5th on your list.
I'm telling you he's 2nd, but Jordan is so much better. Just pull up some old Jordan footage.
He's wearing a Jordan Olympic jersey. He doesn't even know what year it's from.
How this happened where America let Michael Jordan become underrated is incredible. All right. On that note, we're going to take a break. We're trying to track down Joe Vardon overseas. We need a scouting report on Team USA. Well, it's the South Sudan game on Saturday. A wake-up call. Is this Team USA in trouble? We'll talk about that next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie's on vacation. Andrew Bogish is sitting in. Big news today. LeBron James will be the flag bearer for the entire Team USA Olympic team. Great honor for a kid from Akron, which is pretty cool. But we got a little bit of a scare on Saturday in the exhibition game. South Sudan gave Team USA men's basketball all it could handle. When we saw this result, we scrambled, said we got to call Joe Vardon, one of our favorites from The Athletic, is over there in London. Joe, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. slightly disappointed that Maggie's on vacation. No.
Yeah, I don't blame. No, you're not alone,
guys.
Yeah. So what should we read into the close game against South Sudan? I know it was an exhibition game. Is this a reason to be scared about Team USA winning gold?
So scared is an interesting word. We've been trying to say, and listen, there was a time when I didn't quite understand this. Just how a combination of how much better the world is and how different FIBA game is than the NBA. Things have to go right. Like, you can't just overwhelm these teams on talent anymore. So, was the South Sudan game a harbinger of things to come? I'm not necessarily sure about that. I think there were a couple of focus issues that weren't necessarily the fault of the players. And then it was kind of weird to watch what was going on in the fourth quarter. Like, Team USA played this awesome third quarter, ridiculous third quarter to come all the way back from 16 points. And they're up 8, and the lineup that was out there was like Steve doesn't play his starters or maybe the best 5 like down the stretch necessarily. He sticks with this hockey substitution thing, 5 guys on and 5 guys off at a time. And so he keeps saying he's going to do that and when the games count, but it's hard to imagine that in a game you have to have that he's going to go most of a fourth quarter without, the 4 best players in the world all out there, or 4 of the best players in the world, excuse me. So all that being said, I do think this is the best team by a lot. I think when they are focused and when they are paying attention, I don't think effort is an issue. When they're paying attention, I don't think they're beatable. But in a 40-minute game where you can defensive goaltend and now everybody in the world can shoot threes thanks to Steph Curry and the proliferation of that, you got to be careful because it's less time to pull away from an opponent, and the court's shorter and the games are shorter. So, that's just the reality of it.
So, Joe, are these, whatever issues you see, are they just basketball issues about this team and this tournament, or do they speak to bigger issues about the program, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't see a ton of issues with this team. I think that they have outside shooting. They have several players that can get to the rim. They can overwhelm you defensively. They have ridiculous depth that most other teams aren't going to be able to handle. And for the first time since really 96, you could say 2000 if you want, I guess, but they have the most talent and size in the post that they've had since 96. So I love this team. I think this team was put together correctly. And it's really cool to watch the way LeBron and Steph are going at this. And we haven't even seen Durant yet. I mean, if Durant is Durant, and he's got no limitations, you throw him in there. Now you've got 2 rim protectors. He's playing alongside LeBron, who's setting up Steph and Katie. That's nuts. But you do have to talk a little bit about the American program and what they feel like they can ask of these pros. They, at this point in USA basketball's history, because of how the FIBA game is set up in terms of we play a World Cup, for instance, in 23, and then we play an Olympics in 24. USA basketball does not feel at present that it can ask its American stars to play in back-to-back summers. It just doesn't. Now, you're going to say to me, well, wait a minute. Canada did it. Germany did it. France did it. And on down the line, and that's correct. I don't know what the difference is. I mean, Luke is making as much money as the guys on Team USA, or it's close enough, right? It's close enough. Same with Jokic, close enough. Giannis, close enough. But there is just that thing right now that they don't feel like they can make that ask. So, we've got after this summer, we've got 2 summers with nothing going on, and then there's a World Cup, and we know that World Cup team is going to be mostly young guys. Like even Anthony Edwards has already said no thanks. Like talk to me again when it's the 28 Olympics. So and our last 2 World Cup teams have stunk. We just have to say it for how it is. We finished in 7th and we finished in 4th. That's not good enough for USA basketball, and they know that. So this is a long way of saying if they want to build some continuity and then they want to take some of those young guys off that 27 World Cup team and put them on the Olympic team with Ant, with Tatum, with Booker, they should have a couple of training camps next summer and the summer after that to start to build this thing. So the excuse about, the foreign guys have known each other forever and we get 3 weeks to practice before we play together. Like that, let's get rid of that excuse.
So, Joe, you mentioned, we're talking to Joe Vardon, The Athletic, about the Team USA basketball. You mentioned the depth. One of the problems, and I know in an All-Star game, you got to, at some point, tighten your rotation to 5 to 8 players probably, or you can't play everybody 20 minutes like I think Kerr has been trying to do. So who is the closing 5 ultimately for this team?
Well, Perloff, I guess the answer is I don't know because they've had one game where there was an opportunity to close. Now, I know that the Australia game was close, but that was a case where everybody had fallen asleep. They were up by 25. Australia went crazy and got it to 6, whatever. They had one chance to close, and that was the other night. And he had Derek White out there. Derek White was not on this team 3 weeks ago. And now he was closing because they wanted to play. They wanted to defend. I do think that what Steve said is true. He said we have 7 games left. Who the hell knows what the rotation is going to be? It's going to depend on the situation. We know that with the game on the line, when the chips are down, he turned to LeBron and he turned to Steph, and he said, "You go win this for us," and LeBron did. So we know those 2 are going to be out there. I don't think Joel Embiid is a closer on this team. I think it's going to be Davis for defensive purposes. And then if Durant is healthy, I think Durant is a closer. If he's not, I think you have to give strong consideration to Edwards, so long as he's not bogging down the offense. And then you think about Drew Holiday, because he was arguably the second best player on the last Olympic team. He is a glue guy. They think he is the best on point of attack defender in the world. So I think you give him strong consideration too.
All right. So I know I have to ask one question. It's not Olympic. You're with other NBA writers, and I'm sure you know LeBron very well, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2 games at the very end of his summer league experience, Bronny James actually played pretty well. Now, I don't know if you got to watch him or what you're hearing. Is Bronny James, in your opinion, is he going to be on the Lakers week 1 or game 1? And is it possible that those last 2 games have lifted him back into contention to be a real NBA player?
Well, Bronny is, unless there's something I don't know, Bronny's definitely going to be on the Lakers game.
Right. Will he be on the court? Oh boy.
See, he can't answer that question.
Sorry. I touched the third rail there, mentioned Bronny James.
The LeBron people.
Joe, of course, has covered LeBron for a long time.
The LeBron Illuminati jumped in, cut the line.
So I thought that would be a good opportunity to get some insight into Bronny. Bronny did ball out at the end, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, he
12
did.
and 13 points. You stop that, Bogus.
Okay. Sure. Challenge accepted.
Actually, Summer League was endless this year. It seemed to go on forever.
So I don't think it's done yet. That was going to be, I had that as a possible stock down to. I was the 1 second I saw Saturday night of the WNBA All-Star game, my boy Ryan Rucco had to read a promo for the Summer League semifinals yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
Which means there's a title game today or tomorrow. And I can't think of I guess the in-season tournament, beloved on this show, does have a little more significance than Summer League, but not by much. I mean, a Summer League title, semifinals, and a championship game, just let the boys go home.
Back at the Dan Patrick Show, we used to make up a lot of T-shirts, and there was one year the T-Wolves won the Summer League, and we made up championship Summer League T-shirts, ironically. I got to find one of those. It was so funny. There are a couple of headlines. One player, by the way, even more than Bronny James, stood out to me. Kyle Filipowski balled out. Do you remember Filipowski, last time we talked about him, was involved in this strange dating scandal that he was sort of taken away from his family for religious reasons? Anyway, he looked awesome. And you remember, oh my God, he was like the top recruit and was a star at Duke, and he looked really good in Summer League. Again, it's Summer League. It doesn't really prove anything. We've seen guys excel there and then struggle in the NBA. But would that be a thing if Kyle Filipowski was like Rookie of the Year and people would start to really put a spotlight on his relationship, his former babysitter?
I think that's what that started out as, was the family babysitter is an older Mormon woman, and his family thinks that she has like brainwashed him.
Yes. Well, if the guy can hit a three-pointer, I mean, she's
Stretch
brainwashed
four,
him.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, she's brainwashed him in the exact right way. And he's at the Jazz. Would that be funny if he was a star?
You know, his younger brother, committed to Harvard, never got on the floor this past year, transferred to I don't remember where, but there's other Filipowski brothers.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Another guy, Ron Holland, who is, I think, the Pistons. He's number 5 overall pick. Oh my God, he's a highlight machine.
That's a guy I didn't know existed until the NBA draft.
G League, right? G League.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how the NBA draft is right now. Summer League is tough. It was an interesting weekend of sports. Did you get to watch any sports this weekend? Because there's a million sports things on, but I feel like there was no consensus of what people were watching.
What did I watch? I was out of the house a lot Saturday. Some family visiting, so I was being a good family member and not watching random sports on Saturday. But I did try to watch Summer League maybe Friday because here's my obligatory Fordham mention. A recent Fordham player, Khalid Moore, is playing on the Nets Summer League roster, and I saw on like my menu that the Nets and Magic were playing. I was like, oh, let me see if Khalid's in the game. I put it on. I mean, that's Nets Magic in reality in an NBA season might be a tough watch. Nets Magic Summer League. They actually said the Magic had 3 guys who had been playing too well for Summer League, so they were going to watch the end of the run, let other guys get some burn. So they took the better Magic players off the roster, further diluting Nets Magic. Hard pass.
That's amazing. Actually, I'm on the Nets Summer League team. You didn't know that. I have to leave. I have to leave right after this. Got a plane and because it's not a high bar.
No.
I watched a lot of the Open Championship. Great course, Royal Troon. I always felt like I could play well at the British Open because the fairways are so wide, but this one it was not. I also watched a movie this weekend. Have you heard of the movie Bike Riders?
I have not.
Pete, you ever heard of Bike Riders?
No.
So it's a sort of an artsy film with Austin Butler, the guy who played Elvis, and Tom Hardy play a precursor to the Hells Angels. It's about this rough and tumble Chicago motorcycle gang. And it's really, really good. It's really kind of dark and moody. And I'm a huge fan of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Who you might know, what's his big movie? He does a lot of British movies.
I mean, he's from Peaky Blinders, and he's amazing in Peaky Blinders. That's what I know him best for.
I didn't even know that was him in Peaky Blinders.
Right.
He plays Venom, I believe, for any X-Men or Marvel fans.
And he's in is it a Western with Shia LaBeouf, isn't it? Or like Lawless or something like that? He's in that movie, I believe.
He is also in one movie called The Drop, where him and James Gandolfini play New Jersey low-bit gangsters. He's unbelievable. Anyway, Bike Riders, I recommend it. It is dark. Austin Butler is really good in this, but he's still Elvis to me. I'm having trouble getting over the Elvisness of it.
And I didn't know who he was when I started watching. It was on Apple TV, but it's made by the Band of Brothers, HBO guys, about the Air Force, basically, or fighter pilots in World War II. And I didn't know that he had been Elvis. So that was my introduction to him. So now I got to go watch the Elvis movie because you love the Elvis movie.
Spoiler, he plays an insane person in Dune 2 across from Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was him either. He had a bald cap on in the whole movie, and afterwards, my 13-year-old daughter comes out and says, I didn't understand a word of what's going on Dune 2, but I will pay money to watch Austin Butler because he is fine. That's how my daughter describes guys.
Wow, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble. All right, coming up next. Training camps are starting. There are some key contract situations, including one in Green Bay, that we need to watch very closely. That's next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie is in the Midwest enjoying some vacation by a lake right now. It took her a while to get there. You know, she flew on Friday during the tech outage, so she did not fly on Friday. She flew on Saturday. I think she eventually landed there. Hopefully she is relaxing after quite a stressful travel day. But she's part of history because that was one of the worst travel days of all time.
And in typical Maggie fashion, she put it all on social media. In fact, like at the end of the day, edited a video of her 12 hours in an airport.
Yeah, it's really fun. You could check out her.
It's not fun.
I mean, the video's fun. I've never seen more suitcases lying on the floor in my life. Go to @MaggieGray, or you could go to @MaggieandPearl and vote on our greatest sitcom ever bracket. Huge battles today. Simpsons, Jeffersons, Family Guy Office, Seinfeld versus 70 Show, Fresh Prince versus I Love Lucy. So go vote. But today is a big day. Training camps are opening around the country. They'll all be open by Wednesday, I believe. One of the most famous training camps, of course, is Green Bay. The players get on the bikes. It's super cute. But this is a stressful time a little bit in Green Bay. Jordan Love is under contract but wants a new deal. Now it's going to cost the Packers probably somewhere north of $50 million a year. That's the lowest they could probably get away with because Jordan Love is a good quarterback. And now if Trevor Lawrence gets that, Jordan Love probably deserves that. So Andrew Bogusch, will Jordan Love, I don't know what he has to put on. I would say put on the pads. It's obviously not pads. Will Jordan Love show up on the field and be a full participant in your opinion? And if you were Jordan Love, would you do that?
I would do it if I was him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get out there, and I think he will. It seems like they are close enough to a deal that he feels good about going out there. Everything points to this getting done. The team said they wanted to get it done. Remember, we played the clip last week where he was talking at some kind of like charity thing, and somebody asked him about it. And his cronies came in, no, not now, no thank you. And then somebody said, good news soon, or news coming soon.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out today that things are signed. Now, there was a Tom Pelissero report yesterday, I think it was, that they were not like at the goal line, pun intended. But like,
yeah, ESPN reported they're not quite there either.
But I think that it feels like they're far enough along, and there's no reason to think that they're not going to get there, that he's going to play anything close to Harbaugh.
Now, the only thing that gives me pause is the end of the Aaron Rodgers era. So GM Brian Gutekunst famously ticked off Aaron Rodgers. They kind of played hardball. The Packers are a little different. And comes back to the Giants on Hard Knocks. There is no owner of the Packers to walk in and say, you better make sure my starting quarterback is happy, because they are famously publicly owned. They don't have an owner. So I'm not sure the Packers are going to do the same thing with their starting quarterback that everybody else does, make sure they keep him happy. I think it's one of the reasons Aaron Rodgers was on shaky ground the last 2 or 3 years with Goody. I think that they're just set up differently. So that's why they might be far apart, is because the Packers are much more bottom line oriented and they want to maintain flexibility on this young roster. Listen, if they pay Jordan Love $55 million, they're eventually going to have to cut costs somehow. They have a lot of young players on both sides of the ball they have to pay at some point. So I can see them playing a little bit of hardball. I agree it's going to get done. I'd be surprised if Love wasn't on the field because there's a lot of good vibes around there. But the Packers are a little different.
They're definitely different, and there doesn't seem to be full clarity yet on exactly what might be holding this up, because the money is kind of self-explanatory. You just go a little north of what the previous guy got, and you want to, from the Packers' point of view, they want to get this done before any other contract gets signed.
Well, they just signed Kenny Clark, though, the defensive
But I mean,
lineman.
they don't want any other quarterback signing anything that can skew the quarterback market.
Are you looking at Dallas and Dak Prescott?
I'm looking at anybody that needs to get paid now. Tua needs a contract. Dak needs something, and that's it, right? Because
I believe that is
because Herbert's done, Trevor's done, Hurts is done, Burrow's done, Josh Allen is done. So it's Tua and it's Love, and then it's the veteran in Dak, and you don't want anybody to do something stupid and raise that number closer to 60 when it just crossed 50. But there are structural details that you can debate here of when things are paid, how much is guaranteed. Does either side, does the team particularly have a way to get out of it? Like, where is the escape clause for the Packers?
Does Jordan Love take maybe a scunch less to allow the Packers to re-sign other guys? Maybe that's what they're working on too.
Maybe, but like you and I and Maggie have kind of had this conversation indirectly because your old colleague, I'm guessing you guys are all out there at the same time, but Andrew Brandt at SI has written a lot about this, that the argument of if you pay a quarterback X amount of dollars, you're screwing the rest of your roster. In his belief, that's not a thing.
What?
Because you don't ever, no matter what you're paying your quarterback, there's always money left over for the other things that you need. So
that can't. Well, we have to get Andrew Brandt on because how is that possible? Explain.
I mean, the last time you guys talked about this, I actually emailed you his write-up.
Okay.
His story.
Yes, and I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it then, and I don't buy it now because I watched New Orleans not be able to pay everybody. When they gave Drew Brees the money. And the fact that there's always a quarterback on a rookie deal in every Super Bowl says something.
Well, right, but
it wasn't as black and white as I think as you're saying now. I understand what you're talking about, but there obviously have been decisions. I mean, look at the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill is not a Chief because they can't pay everybody.
Sure, but they also just won the Super Bowl.
I understand, but
paying Patrick Mahomes a lot of money.
I understand, but we know Tom Brady. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes definitely took less than he could have. He's not the highest paid quarterback. So and Mahomes said it. He took a certain deal so they could fit in Chris Jones. I know you're scrambling to find that article.
Up the article right now, yeah, because the difference is there's cash and there's salary cap,
right?
And there's two different things, and there's ways where they don't line up exactly the way, they're not a dollar for dollar comparison. And yes, there's always decisions to be made. And there's always at some point going to be a place where somebody has to go because you need to pay other people. But that's true always. At some point the money does run out. But committing $50 million a year to your quarterback is not an immediate cause for concern.
Ooh, you got to get this article because 55, that's a big chunk of the salary cap. And yes, you're right. You could kick the can down the road, as they say, and extend it. But
yeah, and
I feel like you're definitely better off. Look at the Texans. They have C.J. Stroud on a rookie deal, and they just went out and got Stephon Diggs and Danielle Hunter. And you can't ignore, on one level, it seems very obvious that the teams with quarterbacks on rookie deals are just getting stars all around them.
Okay, so the article is entitled, Big Quarterback Contracts Are Not the Problem. Salary Cap Management Is.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know how to, I can't read you the entire article.
Well, you're going to have to read it to me in the break then because I'm still dubious.
Okay.
No, Andrew Brandt's brilliant. He's forgotten more about salary cap and contract structure than I will ever in a million years know. But it does seem... Listen, I'm sure even Andrew Brandt will say, you can't just pay Jordan Love $55 million and not expect any repercussions. All right, Bogus is reading.
Yeah, and I'm already to paragraph 12 trying to find this and try to put it all together.
Yeah, and
let me start from here. Yeah. Paying a star quarterback $40 million is not what gets teams in trouble. What does it all? So I'm trying to get through some of the stuff.
Right. Yada, yada, yada.
And again, this is written in 2023, so some of the references, obviously, for teams and players.
Yeah, $40 million.
There's an Aaron Rodgers Packers comparison in here.
It's $40 million is like backup money.
Right. And Aaron Rodgers is no longer a Packer. Paying a top quarterback in cash is not the issue. Dealing with the leftover cap accounting in the future is much more the problem.
Of course.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
Right, but
I don't care about the cash.
Right,
It's about fitting in star players around Jordan Love once you
Right.
pay him $55 million.
I understand. And all right, again, you can, for the second time, I'll send this to you, and you can feel free to read it in its entirety.
Well, also, I think we got to get Andrew on later this week, specifically about what impact, if they do pay Jordan Love, will have on this team. I know.
So I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Paying Jordan Love today does not then lead them to having to make 6 or 7 cuts to fit him in.
Right, but what happens at a certain point? Let's say Christian Watson has finally a healthy season, and they got to pay him their young wide receiver. Or what happens with all those? Remember all those first rounders they've drafted on defense? What happens when they have to pay them? The Quay Walkers of the world. There's going to be some interesting decisions, and we do know the teams face salary cap decisions, real decisions. The team that's won the last 2 Super Bowls has had salary cap cuts. There's no doubt about it. They'd love to have L'Jarius Sneed back, but they can't.
Right, but also then you have the Giants, who are not anywhere close to an elite team, and even before paying Daniel Jones, they had a crappy cap situation because they paid too many other people the wrong amount of money.
Right. So you're saying,
so the argument, it's about not messing up other things as well. You get in trouble by making 5 mistakes,
right?
Not by making 1. I mean, teams have cap. Even the idea of that guy has too much of a cap hit to trade. Carson Wentz had a $35 million cap hit, and teams were fine with it. The Packers ate money to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and they survived it. All these things that people throw around a lot are not 100% universally true.
Well, I think the Broncos ate a ton of cap with Russell Wilson, and I think they're going to pay for it. I think they're going to have a bad season.
Yeah, and the Rams had to punt on a year because they put all of their eggs into one basket,
right? And
they had to do a reset, but they still have Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Well, the worst is when you have this huge cap hit and you don't win, like the Giants. That was a disaster because they paid Daniel Jones $80 million over 2 years, essentially, even maybe a little more. I'm looking at his cap hit is $47 million this year. Amazing. Or his salary is $47 million. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think you can ignore the fact that the Packers have real decisions here. Yes, is Jordan Love worth as much as Trevor Lawrence? I think absolutely. I think he's a great quarterback. But here's the other question. If you pay him, let's say $53 million, split the baby between 50 and 55, $52 million.
Yeah.
Do you have to win a Super Bowl if you're paying your quarterback over $50 million a year?
I think you have to win a Super Bowl because I think Jordan Love is good enough to get you there. I think that's what makes it. I think that to me it's about the talent of the guy.
Okay, so you're saying that doesn't apply to Trevor Lawrence, who just got a $50 million plus deal.
I don't know. This to me is I don't know where to go with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has not been the guy we thought he was going to be coming out of Clemson. I think that's an easy thing to say. Then where you want to slot him after that here in New York. A lot of people like to compare Trevor Lawrence to Daniel Jones because some of their numbers line up in a weird way as equal. I still think Trevor Lawrence is better than Daniel Jones, but I don't think right now that Trevor Lawrence is playing like a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But Jordan Love now got his team a lead on the Niners and then made the throw that changed the bad throw that changed that entire game. But Jordan Love to me is on the trajectory of being a Super Bowl worthy quarterback. So that is where my expectation comes in, not because of what his paycheck says. His talent tells me that he should play in very important games.
Okay, take Jordan Love out of it. If you pay a quarterback $50 million, should you expect that quarterback gets you to the Super Bowl? Is that what you're paying for, or are you just paying to be a good team?
Well, but you're paying the market value. Like if everyone's making $50 million and it's not unique.
Yeah, there's right now. According to Spotrac, there are 6 quarterbacks who are making over $50 million a year. And I'll tell you right now, none of them are Vegas's top 2 teams to get the Super Bowl next year. You got Joe Burrow. I think that's Super Bowl expectation. Trevor Lawrence. I think they'd be happy just to make the playoffs in Jacksonville. Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. So that means Patrick Mahomes, not over $50 million. He's at 45. And then Brock Purdy, the second favorite team, San Francisco, is still on his rookie deal. So I don't think you can say, I don't think an owner can tell his GM, if you pay $50 million as quarterback, you better get me a Super Bowl, because that's not going to happen in today's NFL. There's going to be, you're exactly right. The market has dictated that there are going to be a lot of 50 million plus quarterbacks who aren't going to sniff the Super Bowl. That's just the way. I mean, sorry, Justin Herbert, has he won a playoff game yet? He's over 50 million. So it's going to be disappointing if that's what you expect.
Right, and I think you can't expect that now. That's why, to me, you have to look at the guys who you think like. So Josh Allen, Joe Burrow are already in this group of guys that should be in Super Bowls, that can win Super Bowls. I think Jordan Love is trending in that direction. I think Justin Herbert should be closer to that conversation than he is. Partially a little bit his fault, mostly the team around him and guys who can't stay healthy, bad roster moves. But the Niners are interesting to go back to them and the actual salary cap conversation because they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy soon. But they've already paid Deebo Samuel. They've already paid Christian McCaffrey.
Well, Deebo's going to be gone soon, possibly.
Or is Ayuk the guy that but that's not it's because of Purdy, but it's not because of Purdy.
Yeah,
you know what
I know.
There's a deal the money does run out unless you are super creative or guys want to be super generous. The money does run out, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay a quarterback top dollar if you think he's your starter for the next 6 to 8 years.
Oh, and I think the Niners are definitely going to play. They're definitely going to reward Purdy. I think he'll be $50 million plus.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah, unless he gets hurt this year, we never know.
Or they win the whole thing and he's 55 or north.
Yeah, it's very clear that they are not going to pay Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel moving forward. It's
certainly not both of them.
Yeah, exactly. And they drafted Ricky Pearsall out of Florida in the first round, so that was a very, very clear message. All right, coming up, Joel Embiid called United States flag bearer old.
Before he was the flag bearer.
No. He called the flag bearer old. We are going to dive into Team USA, not just basketball, overall Team USA's decision to name a certain basketball player their flag bearer. You can weigh in 855-212-4227 or watch us on YouTube at Infinity Sports Radio Network on YouTube. Weigh in on the chat. Do you like America's flag bearer? That's next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh.
What are you laughing about?
I just got a text from a friend of mine. You may know her. Her name's on the show. She's wondering how the political talk's going so far today. Quite a weekend. Quite a weekend. Of course, Joe Biden dropped out. Nick Castellanos homered, as usual, on an important day.
Ho-hum.
Yeah.
It's just a Sunday.
Yes. Some of us were watching Team USA basketball. Now, Bogus, last segment, we spent about 15 minutes vamping, so you can pull up an Andrew Brandt article. I'm going to give you a warning here. Can you pull up the Joel Embiid quote about LeBron James? Because I'm utterly mystified about these two Team USA stars talking about each other. I mean, LeBron is the man of the moment. He's going to be the flag bearer for Team USA at the Olympic opening ceremony. He took over against South Sudan on Saturday. Basically, they were losing, and he started pushing around guys, driving to the hole, hit a last-second layup. And he said afterwards, I love these close games. It's a lot more fun than blowing guys out. Be careful what you wish for, LeBron. But Joel Embiid, Team USA center, I don't understand what he was saying exactly here. Can you explain, Bogus?
No, I can't, even though I could read you the words that he said. Is he allowed to say these things?
Do you have it? Go ahead.
You look at the talent that the U.S. has, but there's equal talent on other teams. And the talent that's on the U.S. team, you also got to understand most of those guys are older. The LeBron now is not the LeBron that was a couple of years ago, so it's a big difference. This is for the New York Times.
Oh, right. Joel Embiid did that huge interview for the Times.
Yeah.
Said a lot of interesting things. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, he's just saying the quiet part out loud. That LeBron is old? If you're LeBron James and you read that quote, like, dude, what are you saying?
Well, Joel Embiid looks older than LeBron.
I know. Joel Embiid's like late Kareem at this point.
I mean, get babyface Derek White to call LeBron old. Embiid has, like, the hips of a 60-year-old. He's calling LeBron old?
It's so funny. Steve Kerr announced at a certain point, he said that I think the core of who's going to be playing a lot, I like Embiid, Curry, and LeBron together. And most people are like, you're going to put Embiid out there with those two? Because Embiid is still recovering from injury, looks really slow. He's actually pretty good on offense, probably a little better than AD. But he can't get out. He can't get after guys on defense right now because of his injuries. That is just a strange quote for because LeBron looked awesome.
And I just didn't think you could, like, speak ill of the Godfather.
Yeah, I know. But it sounds like Joel Embiid didn't mean it. Like, he wouldn't have said, it didn't sound incendiary. It sounded like he was just sort of speaking.
But doesn't it almost sound like him explaining why he chose to play for France, or is it Cameroon? What's his
Cameroon, I think, yeah.
Like, this almost seems like he's telling you why he chose to play, because this was the pick, right, between those three countries. It's almost like why he went in another direction. But he's on Team USA.
Oh, I see what you're
telling
saying.
you that the names on paper are not necessarily the names on the court, and these guys are older, and like we're kind of living off reputation. It's a weird thing to say, especially on the eve of the Olympics. I don't know. I don't know where this came from. I just didn't think that you were allowed to speak poorly of LeBron.
Well, honestly, that's a key issue for me. LeBron is 39, KD's 35. I think Curry's 36. You would think that there's some vulnerability. In normal basketball life, normal sports life, that's old. Especially LeBron at 39. Michael Jordan at 39 was not pretty to see on the Wizards.
He looked like Manny.
Yeah.
You're wearing a Jordan jersey.
Yeah, what's up? Manny Rodriguez doing updates. You're wearing a number 9 USA team basketball jersey, and Bogus says it's not right. What's your problem with this jersey?
I thought it was a Dream Team jersey, but I think it might be an 84 jersey. I think.
Okay.
Because like the underarm paneling looks different, and the nameplate on the back looks different. I could be wrong, but at 5:30 this morning, half in the dark, like that's not Dream Team name and number on the back of his jersey. And Manny wasn't even alive, I don't think. In 92, I had the actual Dream Team replica jerseys of Jordan and Pippen and maybe Magic.
92.
And that's not what I remember it looking like. There's some subtle differences about that jersey.
I think that's the Dream Team.
Is it really?
I think you're wrong. I'm noticing the piping on the side is the same as the Dream Team.
I don't know. All right. I'll sit corrected.
Yeah, it does look, the 84 looks similar. Now, they lost in 84, right? But Jordan was like the revelation.
Yeah.
Bobby Knight was like, oh my God, this is the best player who's ever walked on planet Earth. And turned out he was right. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like, it's very cool. Manny,
It's very cool.
Why'd you wear it today? Just
Because it
support
matched with the hat. I've been keeping this hat and I've been keeping the hat in the holster for about a week and a half now. I saw it at Marshall's for about $11, and I thought I needed it. And remember that I have this jersey, and it kind of goes with the jersey. So
the hat,
and also go America. You know,
the hat that says
right, Pete.
Yep. Pete's not rooting for Team USA basketball. All the other Team USA. Me and Pete, I'm with Pete. Now the hat says Coors Golden Colorado. So just to be clear, this was all about getting that Coors hat out there. Nothing to do with Jordan, really.
No, it was more or less just color coordinating things, making sure that I didn't look like an idiot because I knew I was going to be on the stream.
I didn't see that happening. When you asked that question, I thought we were going to get some kind of Jordan-led answer, but the hat was the driving force?
Yeah. The hat is sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the hat's not sick. I just didn't think that was the central part of your ensemble.
Yes. No, this I started on Saturday thinking about what I was going to wear on for the stream today, and this ended up being the winner because I needed something to go along with the whole thing.
All right.
And I found this jersey.
What is you have a really cool T-shirt on, Bogus. Could you explain this?
I did see that at the beginning of the day at 5:30 when you saw me. Yeah.
These are rally caps.
Oh, cool. Where'd you get that?
Great. I think you have some gear from Baseballism. Great site. Is your Clemente hoodie jersey from there? Your Clemente hoodie?
No, that's Roots of Flight.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They have something similar.
So these are inside-out baseball hats. That's really cool.
Yeah, the original, the shark fin, which is when you go sideways.
Oh.
Sure.
And then the stack of caps. That was my favorite growing up. You stack caps on top of one head.
Can I make a fashion observation? Because I live in Brooklyn. It's kind of a fashion place. The Bass Pro Shop hats are big.
That just say Bass Pro Shop?
Yeah, there's some form of Bass Pro Shop. Like every young sort of hip-looking person is wearing one of those.
I think you need to be qualified to wear a Bass Pro Shop's hat.
I thought you were going to say you need to be qualified to make a statement like that because he said that the only qualifications that he has is that he lives in Brooklyn. Apparently that's the bar. Well,
I just see a lot of young people wearing Bass Pro Shop hats, so I thought that might be the style of the day. I also heard it's something interesting. My wife informed me, this is how lame we are, that ankle-high socks are no longer cool. You got to wear halfway up your thigh. That's
what about my no-show socks?
No-show socks not cool. Ankle-high socks not cool. What do you got, Manny? Yeah, Manny is much cooler. Halfway up your thigh, like quarter length. You can't have. Don't wear no-show socks anymore.
I'm not gonna wear them all the way up to my calves. They can definitely stretch all the way up to my calves, but
all right. But like my 10-year-old son wears his socks like that. That can't apply to me and you.
First of all,
mid-40s dads.
I'm not even trying to be fashionable, so that doesn't. But Manny, is that true that higher socks are now in a little bit?
I mean, higher socks. I feel like they've been in for about a decade now. So I mean.
Yep, but there you go.
Since I was in high school, and again, I graduated high school about a decade ago. So
sounds about right that we would not know that. Okay,
yeah, that's a shame.
Let's take a break on the fashion talk and go into
sports.
Sports. What do you got, Manny?
So Jake Paul fought over the weekend, guys. He knocked out Mike Perry in the 6th round.
Not Mike Tyson.
No, not Mike Tyson, not Mike Perry. Isn't that the officials guy, Mike Perry? Anyway, that led to the Jake Paul's win. That led to Conor McGregor to talk about it for whatever reason. He went on X, did Conor McGregor. McGregor is also the part owner of Bears Knuckle Fighting Championship. McGregor posted on social media, Jake Paul is the biggest, and I cleaned it up a little bit, Jake Paul is the biggest bag of urine I have ever seen in my life. 40-pound weight difference, juiced out of his head, and still defecating himself in there. McGregor then went after Jake Paul's business partner in Nikisa Bidarian, saying they should take Jake Paul to Vegas, but then stops on his run-on sentence, and says that they can't because Jake Paul would then be tested, and therefore he would not be able to fight in Las Vegas. McGregor then went after the bout between Paul and Mike Tyson, saying, quote, and then calling out 60-year-old Mike Tyson fresh off an in-flight medical emergency. I swear to the man above, a fat can of B urine, most valuable urine bag.
Can I play the clip from Old School? Like, I reward you no points to me. God have mercy on your soul.
I don't think that was Old School.
What did you just say? Billy Madison. What did you just say?
A lot of bad words from Conor McGregor. Essentially,
no thanks.
You're out on Conor McGregor.
I'm out on all of that. I'm out on Jake Paul, Mike Perry, Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, urine bags. I'm out.
Not into the urine bags.
No.
Wait. So hold on one second here.
No. Don't ask.
You know what I want to ask about? B urine. Once again, you're talking about sample B, right? Not actual urine from the little flying yellow and black things.
No. I see what you're saying. No, I had to bleep myself out. He's basically not B urine.
Yeah.
B word.
Oh, okay. So
it's calling him
because
female dog.
B urine is a huge topic on the show. Pete Blythe's hitting his head. Do you remember when we started?
Pete's had a bad week. It's 9:30 on Monday morning.
Oh my goodness.
Remember the B? It's a joke from the show because basically they were talking about the B sample for I think it was.
It was Nate. Is it Nate Diaz?
Yeah, it was.
That's a UFC fighter.
Yeah. No, I think it might have been anyway. His B urine sample was all screwed up, and we made a joke about B urine. And you weren't there for that, and now...
Did we make a joke about B urine, or did you think I was saying the urine from a bee?
Am I imagining, or did Manny just say those exact words?
I couldn't follow anything Manny was saying.
Well, after
I did see all this, by the way. Jake Paul destroyed a guy, and then Conor McGregor said he's obviously juicing, and you look at the picture of Jake Paul, and man, he is huge. I'm sorry, it's easy to believe Conor McGregor. I feel like no one's ever going to wrap their head around Jake Paul being a good boxer.
I don't know. I think it's also kind of ironic that Conor McGregor is out there calling other men juice heads.
I know.
He himself all of a sudden looks like he could, take on anybody in the world. McGregor would continue posting on Twitter saying
we're not done yet?
No, because
great. Hold on, look at my pen.
He then said, McGregor then said Perry is released from bare knuckles. But post-fight, Perry said that McGregor can't do that.
He doesn't have a promotion because me and him are both owners of BKFC, so he can't fire me.
He then challenged McGregor's boxing abilities, Bogues.
We can fight in bare knuckle. Look at me. I lost to Jake Paul. Why don't you go fight Jake Paul and box him with the gloves on? I think it'll be worse than Conor McGregor versus Mayweather.
In a since-deleted response, McGregor said, Michael, you are not any owner in BKFC, not an iota.
Okay.
BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fight Club?
Fighting Championship.
Not close enough.
I think we're going to need NFL insider Andrew Brandt to explain the ownership.
I think Maggie's got to come back tomorrow.
All right.
Baseball.
Please.
Something else. Please.
Last night,
by the way, Manny, you look like you're going to give away a cooler for the U.S. Olympics in 1988. I was just trying to figure that out all day. You look like you're giving away a promotional item.
Right. He's next to the Spuds McKenzie.
right. Oh, hey, if you found Herb, then you get a free cooler.
The can turns blue in the fridge.
Right.
That's when you know it's cold, guys. That's when you know it's cold. Last night, Ozzy Albies left early during the Braves' 6-2 loss to the Cardinals. An X-ray revealed a fracture in his wrist that'll cause him to miss 8 weeks. The Braves front office already at work to fill his void, Bogues, as they and Whit Merrifield are in agreement on a major league deal.
Have you seen Whit Merrifield play this year?
Merrifield was released by division rival Phillies earlier this month. So Whit Merrifield's there you go with the Braves, Pearl.
Okay, here I have a question. Bogus, you were talking about the Braves injuries. Incredible rash of injuries. They are right now 54-44. The Mets, your Mets, are 50-48. Would you do a bet about who will finish higher? I'll take the Braves.
Oh, I'm so happy I get to witness this.
I mean, I don't believe in the Mets, so that's hard for me to pick them.
You got to believe, bud.
You can't.
All right.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you chance.
We could do a bet, but I'm not it's not anything significant because it's not a huge gamble. The Mets stink.
You're not going to eat green gelatin?
That was a famous Maggie Perloff show bet. Man, you want in on this action? Who do you got? I feel like the Braves will find a way to have a winning record.
They always do. Yeah. I like the Braves. I don't have any confidence in the Mets. Why would I bet on the Mets? For 27 years, I've learned to not do that.
Restate this again. I was doing a couple other things.
The Braves have all these injuries. They're 54-44. The Mets are 50-48.
Pete wants the action.
I'll bet that the Braves end up with a better record despite all those injuries
than the Mets.
Yeah, I'm not taking that. No chance.
We know how this works.
They're heading toward another 7-game losing streak right now.
Although we have Mets Braves this weekend, I think, right?
Yeah.
The
toilet bowl.
Check back with me and Pete on Monday.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it could be over by Monday, or we will give you a kid as for part of this
check back
bet.
with me on Friday. That's when we'll know.
I didn't feel great about the bet. I'm actually glad you guys did not jump in. The Mets will improve in the second half. All right, what else, man?
No, have you seen the Mets' August schedule? The Mets have 2 10-game West Coast road trips in August.
Right, and did you see the Met lineup below 5? We're not unless you're going to acquire Randy Rosarina. You're not really getting far.
He hit 2 home runs yesterday for the Rays against the Yankees.
Say it.
Yeah. All right. Well, former All-Star Ty France, he has been placed on waivers by the Seattle Mariners in 26 games since returning from a hairline fracture on his heel. France is hitting $159 with 1 home run and 4 ribbies. On June 18th, the Mariners were 44-31 and held a 10-game lead in the AL West. Their win 6-4 over the Astros yesterday puts them back in a virtual tie for first place in the division. Julio Rodriguez did leave the game, though, after running into the wall and spraining his ankle in the 6th inning. He is considered day-to-day.
That's horrible. Scott Service should be getting a lot of blame for this. They shouldn't be losing a lead like that to the Astros.
Do you want to run their team too?
Yes, I do. I'm volunteering to run their team as well.
Pete's mad at the Seattle Mariners.
I am.
Fire Jerry DiPoto and bring in Pete.
It's time for them to actually start doing things in the playoffs. Since Ken Griffey Jr. was there, they haven't been doing anything.
A few more finals from yesterday. Aaron Judge, he homered for the 35th time this year, and the Yankees lost to the Rays 6-4. The Phillies, they avoid a sweep and beat the Pirates 6-0.
All right, go Phils, go.
The Red Sox, they did not have the same fortune as the Dodgers sweep then 9-6. Bob Melvin, he was tossed before the first pitch of a Giants win over the Rockies 3-2. Golf, Xander Schauffele wins the Open Championship, claiming his 2nd major of the year. Bogues, what's so funny?
Golf.
Golf.
Made me laugh.
Yeah, Xander Schauffele, he won the Open Championship.
All right. It's exciting stuff, Manny.
Back to you guys.
Yes.
I'll be selling it. I'll be waiting around the corner on the table if you want a free.
I'm gonna come out there in the break and say, "Wait, what happened with Conor McGregor?" No, I understand.
That's by us one more time.
Okay.
Want me to read the tweets? It's a lot of pee in there.
If you spell them, it's fine.
No, it's not.
It's Maggie's trick. Just spell the curse words and they don't count.
It's not, folks.
Okay, we have results coming in on our greatest sitcom bracket ever. There are 4 matchups today in the Sweet 16. There are 3 total blowouts. I mean blowouts. But there is one 50-50. So I'm going to reveal it.
What a tease.
And I've been able to juice the voting on these different things before, so I'll decide what I want to do here. That's coming up.
Should you be admitting that?
Collusion.
Oh, no, juice, like I bring more attention to certain polls to make sure that people know that a show that they love is losing.
Does it happen in the bit?
Does it? Oh, the bits?
The bits legit.
Well, there's nothing. No, I'm not changing the actual votes, but I am drawing attention to the matchups that I think are unfair, because I think if people knew that this show is losing, they might jump in.
It'd be like Taylor Swift supporting Kamala Harris. That's what Perloff is. He brings the youth vote.
Oh, does he now?
Why are we going here?
Bogus, what are you doing?
It's topical.
We're 3 hours and 40 minutes in, and you bring up Kamala Harris? What are you doing here?
It's topical, and it's apolitical, and it's a joke because you're not Taylor Swift.
All right.
He's not?
All right. Coming up next, we'll update the sitcom bracket right here, Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
This is it, folks.
Hey, it's Andrew Perloff. I'm genuinely impressed with NBC's Al Michaels AI, a revolutionary addition to Olympics broadcasting.
I'm Peter Schwartz, and I've got to say, the Al Michaels NBC AI is a marvel in sports broadcasting. Witnessing technology evolve in this industry, I'm beyond impressed with how this AI encapsulates Al's legendary voice. And his
4 minutes remaining.
On the court at Duke, the game's on fire. Coach K's got plans, his aims are higher. But there's Mace Windu right on the side. Waves his lightsaber, but he's just denied. Oh, Coach.
You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Sit back, relax, we got a break to go. In just 5 minutes, we'll be back on air. So take a breath, we'll soon be there. 5 minutes, count it down. Maggie and Perloff, the best show in town. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's wait. 5 minutes now, it's gonna be great. Time's ticking down, it's almost here. Maggie and Perloff, we're so near.
Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, we're back on Maggie Perloff. Bogus sitting in for Maggie Gray, who's on vacation. She'll be back soon. Our executive producer, EJ Stewart, has been recovering from knee surgery, and I believe we have EJ up. EJ, how you doing, buddy? How you feeling?
Doing good. I feel like I've been watching the show and producing the show from home today, and I feel like I've seen a lot of pot shots coming from your way, so I'm a little annoyed. To be honest,
fair.
But otherwise doing fine. Both of you guys have been taking a lot of pot shots, but it's okay. You're lucky to Zoom. The strike, the same issues that Maggie had with the travel, was the issues I had with Zoom this morning in terms of trying to get the computer up. But we're back now.
That's how it works. When you're not here, you're just vulnerable. You can't fight back. I'm sorry, dude. Well, the sitcom bracket from day one has caused nothing but tension. Me and Maggie picked the brackets. A lot of controversy. Somehow some powerhouses got through to Pete's bracket that we didn't even have. But we're down to the Sweet 16. Voting is almost done. Can you update us on what is happening today in the Maggie and Perloff show sitcom bracket?
Okay, so today we did the Sweet 16 for the Simpsons region and the Seinfeld region. So first in the Seinfeld region, in the 1-5 matchup, Seinfeld is leading right now, 85%, number one seed to the fifth seed, that 70 show at 15%, so a massive blowout. Here we have a razor sharp regional semifinal here. In this Seinfeld region, I Love Lucy, the number 2 seed, up on the Fresh Prince, 51-49 right now.
Ooh.
So razor sharp.
2 iconic shows
there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Seinfeld will be looking at maybe a potentially tough match between either Fresh Prince or I Love Lucy. That is essentially a 51-49 split right now. And then in the Simpsons region, we have the Simpsons wiping out the Jeffersons right now, 75%, 25%. Simpsons, of course, number 1 seed in that region. And then this very interesting matchup, this 2-14 matchup between The Office and Family Guy. Family Guy being a 14 seed that's been controversial for maybe being underseeded. Family Guy is up 71% to 29%. So you can, of course, continue to vote. The voting is open up until tomorrow. So we have 24 hours to get your votes in. So make sure you guys go to the Maggie and Pearl Twitter page to vote. And I will say, I know Pearl keeps saying that, our bracket keeps getting, torn apart, whatever. We have a lot of higher seeds here. So, it's not like we had these massive upsets. Like, we only have one really big Cinderella that has made it super far in Family Guy, which, again, maybe was our fault with underseeding. I would say our bracket's been great because the seeding has survived, right? We've seen a lot of chalk. So, I don't want to hear this stuff about our bracket. Our bracket's been fine. You're seeing that through these results.
I think you mix it up. The Office is destroying Family Guy. It's The Office.
I did say that. I didn't mean.
Yeah.
The Office 71%, Family Guy 29%.
What else did we take pot shots at you? Is there anything else you want to defend yourself? Perhaps Team USA men's basketball, EJ?
Yeah. Well, look, first of all, the whole idea that I don't love the Dream Team. I do love the Dream Team. I just think that the Redeem Team and the 2012 team were also great teams.
Wait. I'll give you the Redeem Team as a thing. 2012 team. What was the 2012 team? Who'd they beat?
Well, the 2012 team actually was probably better than the Redeem Team in terms of talent.
God, you're such a basketball nerd.
Team had Kevin Durant. What do you mean? Of course.
I'm just saying nobody on earth cares about the 2012 men's U.S. Olympic basketball team. Of course they won.
You always say that no one cares thing.
Nobody.
When clearly there are people who care, because when we talk about the best Olympic team, I guarantee you people of my generation will bring up both the Redeem team and 2012. This idea that the 92 team.
I'm not saying they're not great, but they have no impact.
No, they do, because look, the 92 team is phenomenal. There's no question about that. But let's be real. They really literally were playing against plumbers and fire truck drivers or whatever. Like they were playing as guys who wouldn't take autographs on the free throw line, okay? Like this was different in 08 and 2012. The game had evolved. There are a lot of great teams all over the country. And the USA actually had to face other NBA players, other good teams. They still were able to bring back the gold. And those teams were stacked. Awesome teams. Like 08 and 2012 also very iconic as well. Not the dream team iconic, but if you're telling me best teams, you have to put them in that conversation.
I just don't find these modern sort of dream teams that entertaining. I don't know what the style play like. I've been watching a lot because of the time our show's on early in the morning. I've been watching a lot. It just doesn't feel special for some reason. Just the way the team is constructed and the style of play. Maybe it's because they're too dominant.
I don't know how you can say that though, because the 2008 gold medal game was maybe the best international basketball game we've ever seen. Like,
who was in it?
It was the U.S. versus Spain.
Oh, the Pau Gasol, Kobe knocked out Pau Gasol game. Okay, yeah.
Right. Well, that was actually, I think, in the pool play. They played again in the gold medal game. U.S. blew them out in pool play, then played in the gold medal game, and the U.S. was down late, and Kobe had some big threes to help them seal that win. But that was a close game. We didn't know what was going to happen down the stretch. Those were great games. Again, nobody can remember any game from the 92 Dream Team. The only game they remember is Dragan Petrovic getting, or Tony Kukoc getting beat up by Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Otherwise, all people remember from the Dream Team is that they blew everybody out by 70 points.
Well, people
actually do remember the 08 team and the games they played.
I think people do remember Charles Barkley elbowing a guy from Angola. That was amazing. By the way, I'm looking back at some of those rosters. There were a lot of pros in the Eastern European teams. Back then, you know, it's not as good as now.
Yugoslavia had a decent team again. Tony Kukoc was on it. Dragan Petrovic was on it. But a lot of those other teams were not. They were nowhere near as good as the world is now, it shows in the results, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, Team USA was winning those games by a combined, like an average of 30, 40, 50 points. And we've seen the gap tighten, which is why I think when Joe Vardon talked earlier, he made the point that they're going to have training camps and have to have some kind of program in place so that you guys have more chemistry. I think he's 100% right. I think that's one of the biggest issues right now with Team USA and why they've struggled so far in this exhibition.
Yeah, maybe it's okay. Maybe for me, it was more fun when they were blowing guys out. I don't need to see Bam Adebayo with a 9-foot turnaround. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. There's something stale about this team, and it was kind of LeBron was right. He said after the game that he liked the close game better than the blowouts. Like, finally, there was something to watch on Saturday because it was cool to see LeBron sort of rise to the occasion. Generally, there just hasn't been the drama for me, and that's my problem, EJ, with 2012 too. Like, it didn't rise to my level because I just guess I thought they'd never lose.
Right, but at the same time, again, in 08, like they had been tested and they won a gold medal game that was contested. I don't know how that's less exciting than watching the Dream Team just run people over by 60 points.
Greatest
like that's my only point.
Bogus. Anything to say, DJ?
To EJ, and this is how I think you were arguing with me about MJ and LeBron. Like, you can't, I think you have to be alive in 92 to understand that there is no comparison to that team in that moment. Because everything that was being redeemed in 08 and 12 was being redeemed originally by the 92 Dream Team. And that collection of guys in that moment, everything else comes second. There's just not a comparison. I don't care who was on the Yugoslavian team.
Yeah.
I don't care the context of 2012. I've got Jordan and Magic and Bird, and I've got
who's old
the great Lithuania Grateful Dead T-shirts and Sarunas Marciulionis and those guys. Like, I don't need anything else. Like, that's it. That conversation begins and ends with 92. Everything else comes after it.
Do you think? I mean, let's have a real conversation. Could Michael Jordan and 4 college players have beaten this current team?
Peak Jordan.
I'm just kidding.
And
I was just
Kyle
trying to annoy you.
Filipowski.
I was just trying to annoy you. EJ, we got to get you back on Zoom earlier in the show tomorrow. Thanks for jumping on, buddy. We'll talk soon. Meanwhile, Vince Carter dunking on Frederick Weiss is the single greatest men's Olympic play of all time.
Right, and didn't he say, when he said the greatest game we've ever seen was the 08 final, does he mean like us right now or all of us? Because I feel like some USSR games are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I got to tell you, whatever they played in China, I certainly didn't see any of that. Wasn't that on at 3 in the morning? Well, I love EJ's passion. He'll be back on Zoom tomorrow. Meanwhile, thanks to Manny Rodriguez. Thank you, Pete Bellotti and the Bellotti Invitational Tournament. Thank you, Andrew Bogusch. Look forward to tomorrow. Lots of NFL training camp coming up. I can't wait.